Welcome into the Jordy Culotta Show. Wave your hand out there, baby!
Shout out to the show.
She puts the pinky into the nostril. Man, look at that.
Healthy competition, there's nothing like it.
Y'all grow up.
The line's wrapped around the stadium.
Different strengths. I just lost a tooth.
It's going to be fun.
You know, we might have a story.
I love what you're doing.
Ogeron wants to take us fishing this afternoon.
Sharif, you play for the bad boys of the SEC, man. We don't apologize to anybody.
A lot of people are saying you're going to be wearing number 7.
I don't really know. I want to. He look crazy, Bill.
Good feet on the old man.
Definitely come back.
We'll be right back with the Jordy Culotta Show. Welcome into a Wednesday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, live, built every single day by RMB Builders. Shout out to our friend Rhett Bourgeois and RMB. RMB is on Instagram. Remember to find them there at RMB Builders and rmb-builders.com. Our phone line is brought to you by Metropolitan Health Group. Shout out to our crew, Charlie Harvey and Jason Ramazan. Real doctors, real solutions over at Metropolitan Health Group. Jacques going to be through here at 8:15 this morning for his regular Wednesday segment. He sat down with Brian Kelly yesterday. We're going to sit down with Coach Kelly tomorrow. We'll talk to Jacques about what he learned in sitting down with the head coach. We'll also get some of the storylines about this LSU baseball team as they win last night and get back on to into the winning column as they win 14-4 over Northwestern, as they will face Mississippi State this weekend. So, lots to get to.
Go Dak.
You think about a wager?
I have been thinking about it.
Go Dak. Go Dak.
Go Dak.
Go Dak. He ain't showing up. He ain't walking through that
Dak
door.
doesn't have anything to
Maybe
do with
he might
it.
be here.
Go Dak.
He's not going to be.
Oh, he
there's
might.
someone here.
Get the
I don't
autograph.
think people
About that.
understand how much time Dak Prescott spends in
I don't
Baton Rouge.
understand that.
He is here a lot.
I've never seen him.
His girlfriend lives here.
Does it
I
hurt
know.
you that deep down he wants to be a tiger?
Go Dak.
He does not want to be a tiger.
Oh,
He
In
did.
no
Bad.
way, shape, or form.
Katie.
Bad.
Now listen,
Yeah.
Okay, y'all are going to tell
Katie,
me right
Katie,
now
Katie,
that Dak
Katie,
Prescott
Katie.
wants to be an LSU
Do you know
tiger.
why he ended up at Mississippi State?
Yeah, I know the story.
What is it?
But because Les Miles wanted him to be a running back or something.
A tight end.
A tight end.
Tight end.
So
whatever.
if Les wouldn't have been Les, let's say that LSU would have had a competent coach at that time.
This is such speculation.
Speculation.
Katie, this is true.
Okay, so
don't
Dak,
know what
Dak
Dak's
is the best
thinking.
quarterback in Mississippi State football history.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
So
yeah,
LSU had a
duh.
coach at the time that looked at the best quarterback in Mississippi State football history and said, "Son, you'd be a great tight end here."
Right.
And that's probably the one coach in the world at that time that looked at Dak and said, "We'll make you a tight end rather than a quarterback." If LSU has anyone, if they've got Lloyd running the program at the time, Dak
QB1.
is in Baton Rouge. And
I'll just
not
lie to
trying-
him.
I'm not trying to piss you off on that.
You're not.
And I'm
I
not
just
trying to
don't
undercut
understand.
you on that. But You
He
got
made his
you
choice.
have Dak.
Yeah,
You
kid.
got Dak. Dak is the best football player in the program's history. But don't
Think.
get it
Don't
twisted.
overthink
What do you
it.
mean he made
If-
his choice? Like, if he had an offer from
Go
here, he
Dak.
had an offer from State, he had an offer from
did-
Alabama, wherever.
he did
like-
If
have
the
an
offer
offer from
would
LSU.
have been along with him playing
Do you want to be
quarterback
CEO
at
or
LSU,
do you want to be janitor?
he would be here.
How do you know that? You just
Because
said
I mean,
that.
like,
You saw it on Hard Knocks.
exactly. I mean, like,
You want to be LSU so bad.
but that shouldn't like.
He
That
said
shouldn't
that.
bother you,
He said
Katie.
on Hard Knocks, I wanted to be at LSU
it-
so bad.
No, it was an LSU guy.
Lyle Collins.
Lyle Collins is like,
He
oh,
said,
yeah.
He
it-
said Dak said he wanted
No,
to be
he
at
was
LSU
telling
so
Dak.
bad.
They're on a boat. They're fishing.
Yeah.
And they're like gambling, and they're like wagering something, and like
Biggest fish.
Yeah, whatever it is.
But I thought they were in a training room.
And he's like, "You wish you were at LSU.
Uh-huh.
You wish you'd have gone to LSU." And Dak's like looking down.
Uh-huh, and he's like, "You wouldn't
not
beat LSU."
defending it. He's not like,
disagreeing.
yeah, right. He's like not saying no.
Okay. Well, he didn't. He went to Mississippi State,
Exactly.
and now he's the
You
quarterback.
didn't
of
want
the
to play
Dallas
tight end. You want to
Cowboys.
stand
Like,
next to Lyle Collins all
what's
day.
the argument here? What,
Go Dak.
what-
That
how
Les
did this-
Miles is an idiot.
No,
Okay.
that Dak will be here. He wants to be in
Oh,
Baton
that he
Rouge.
hangs out in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, he'll probably be in a
'cause he's
suite.
dating a
Really,
girl.
truly kind of lives in Baton Rouge.
And he loves Mississippi State baseball. He had the jersey the last time they were
The hat.
in the national championship. Yeah.
The
Dak.
hat that I can't
Dak.
get my hands on.
Go Dak.
He might wear it. Maybe you can get it.
I'd really love that hat.
Go Dak.
Go Dak. You
The
can
Anyway.
upside down
Uh,
Dallas.
Yeah,
And
they
you
made
could-
one for Mississippi State that's like that colorway, but it has State upside down. I mean, I guess because he wore that, but nowhere is that Dallas hat in that colorway. I've searched.
You know what you could do?
It's custom. I
You
mean,
could get like 3 LSU guys to beat him up. He's like 0 for 4 in
And take the
fights.
hat.
Yeah, got his ass kicked on spring
that's
break.
a great idea. Or the three of you could beat him up
I
and
mean-
take the hat.
No, we couldn't.
He got beat up by like 3 frat kids.
So I thought about a wager
Okay.
because, I mean,
How we feeling?
Katie, you.
well,
What,
I mean,
and the
depends
wager
on-
is it's a sweep, right?
Yes.
I don't know because like, are y'all?
She has to
super-
win one game. LSU has to
Can
sweep.
I help Katie on this? Because Katie,
Are you super confident that
I'm
like
not
y'all are gonna
confident
win
at
all
all.
3 games?
I'm not confident at all.
Katie,
Okay.
you are 0 for 3. You should like think about.
I
this.
know.
Before you do
Look,
this, you should
I know.
think
I have
about
the
it.
shirt that says it.
Like after this show, you should think about it before you
Long and
say
hard.
it live. Long and hard.
Is this a Thursday day one, game one, or is
Friday.
this a Friday?
Friday.
Okay. All right.
It would,
Yeah,
would
so
also
we still have some
last game
time.
for last home series regular season for
Oh,
Paul
is it?
Skeens, Dylan Cruz,
So senior day.
Veloso. Yes, well those aren't seniors, but senior day that's
Sure,
going to be like
sure.
the LSU. You know,
Right.
get your
Recognize the
flowers.
pros.
Yeah, they're not coming
Oh,
back.
that's tough.
Yeah, so Friday night
That's
will
a
be
tough
tough.
one.
That's a big emotional game.
Well, and what teams have started to do against LSU is reverse pitch, right? Is
Right.
They kind of start to throw like your third starter on
Get
Friday
schemes
night,
and just
then
let
kinda
him get all the flowers.
Yeah,
and it's like, all
right,
right, he's going
like,
to strike
let's
out 15
do
people.
the deal here and take our ass whooping. But then
Let's take one from
they're
him on
gambling.
Saturday.
You know, they're kind of saying, hey, outside of Skeens,
They're gettable.
teams, you know, Auburn was the first team to really kind of pull it off. Right?
Kentucky tried,
Yeah, Kentucky tried.
and they made it was a close series.
Yep.
They got one.
right. The Ole Miss try.
I don't know if Ole Miss tried. We went through this with Jared Mitchell is like adamant that it's not true, and I'm looking at the numbers like, well, all their pitchers suck. It doesn't matter. It's like, well, they're taking the lesser of the options
Right.
for Skeens. Like they're not going to throw their best guy against him because whether he's they all have sub 5 ERAs. They're going to take their best one and move him against. It's not pitching against Skeens. It's trying to find
Sure.
an option that isn't Skeens.
Exactly.
And that gives you a better chance to win. So that's what they've been doing. And if LSU has any chance of trying to find a third starter, you would have to be pretty excited about what you saw last night, even though it's against Northwestern State. But Thatcher has started the game a little wobbly, but once he gets in his groove, he is good, and he showed elite stuff last night. So if that I think there's a reason he got the start yesterday, and he only threw I think 2 1/3. If he is able to be that Thatcher and get you 5, you have a third starter. So I think that's why they moved him from out of the
Interesting.
closing role into all right, let's get him back on the bump to start games and see what we have. And if it's not going to be him, honest to God, it might be Blake Money because at least he fills up the zone. Like all he does is throw strikes. He gets barreled. He got barreled by Northwestern, but just throw strikes. Like if you want to give up 5-6 runs, that's fine on Sunday. We'll score 10, but at least give LSU a chance to win, as opposed to watching the carousel go round and round and round. So
Didn't
those
he
are
go to
2
Northwestern?
predictions. Who?
Did you go to Northwestern?
Yeah, I wore my split jersey last night.
What'd you do there? Is that where you got your master's?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I shouldn't have gone. I didn't apply anywhere else because they gave me a job before I even took the test.
Where is it?
Natchitoches.
Okay.
But I don't regret it. But I popped on the GRE.
Greatest little city on earth.
It is, and I could have gone. I
Never
could have
been.
gone to LSU, but I didn't apply anywhere else.
Take the kids at Christmas.
I heard
Oh,
they do that huge festival thing.
huge festival.
Like
How old's Goober?
9th grade, 15.
The perfect timing.
Wait, why? What
Take
happens?
him.
What happens to 9th grade boys in academics?
It's just a great little like.
They don't know he's in 9th grade.
Yeah.
Wait, what do you mean?
Steal
I'm confused. What happens?
I mean, anything goes in
It's kind of a
Natchitoches.
St.
Oh.
Patrick's Day parade
That Christmas
type.
thing is?
It's the biggest day of the
Christmas
year.
time.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
That's
people
their
come
thing.
from all over for
All
that,
over.
right? I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
that
their
was the
thing
thing
in
in Still
Natchitoches.
Magnolias. Big
Yeah,
deal.
that's the deal.
Yeah.
And they hang the lights from the water tower.
Cool. I
Yeah, and
need
they
to check it out.
have lights on the what is that
Is it,
river?
It's called Cane River.
Cane
Lake.
River.
It's Cane
River
River
Lake.
Yeah,
Yes.
right.
Is it a river or a
No,
lake?
I think
It's a
lake.
pontoon. It's for the pontoon
It's
boats.
like False River kind
Exactly.
of situation.
Right.
Weird. It's a lot of
But
those.
Natchitoches is a cool little spot, man.
It is.
It's
It
a
is.
great little spot.
The
It
hideaway
is.
of hideaways.
It is. It's a great little duck off. Who knew North Louisiana could be cool at anything?
Yeah.
Natchitoches.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Don't
Natchitoches
overthink
got
it.
Yeah,
We
right.
got this. We got
Exactly.
this river lake, and
Exactly.
River Lake.
get a boat.
Let's just call it a river. No, it's a lake. Let's call it a river lake.
Let's talk
LSU
about ULL.
football. All right, we're going to be over at LSU football tomorrow. I did make one last. I told Katie this. I did make one last little ditch effort here. I threw a text message at Bonnet this morning. It was pre 5 a.m. I don't know how much he'll appreciate that, but I'd
Oh my
imagine that
God.
he's got his notifications turned off. I would
Okay,
think.
so then,
I would think.
then it's okay.
I would
'Cause
think,
he
and,
wouldn't hear
and
it.
Bonnet's the type of guy where he would tell me,
Yeah.
like, bro, don't ever. Like Johnny Jones hit me with if you ever hit me with a text message before 4 a.m. again, I'll kill you.
I feel like it's on
Yes, sir.
you. Like, that's like your fault.
How about drawing this line right
I
now?
understand, sir. It's like, I mean, you got my wife asking more questions
Oh my God,
about
I
Jordy
bet.
Culotta than I need to deal with pre 6 a.m. You know what I mean? It's like
a
he's
coach?
asking me if I need to be on the radio show. That's all he's asking.
Is it a
If
real
I can be on
name?
the radio show. Yeah, right.
Call him.
Prove it.
Call him.
Yeah, like,
Bet she's ugly.
But everyone can silence their notifications or put your sleep time on or your work time.
Exactly.
So I kind of feel like
The
it's
do not
on that
disturb.
person. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
you should be able to text at any
I don't-
time because it's not coming through.
I don't know if
Okay,
You're not
I like it.
hearing it.
I like it. I
I
like
don't
it.
know
I'll
if
buy
Bonnet
it.
could be a no notifications person.
Who's that? Bonnet?
Bonnet. I don't think he
it's-
could.
I-
You
that's
can
it.
have certain people.
But
Like,
I will
have
buy
the
that
kids
too.
come through.
Yeah.
Like
I'll
I'll
buy
hear
that
their
too.
text.
Yeah,
But
you're
when
right.
he texts at 4 a.m.,
Yeah.
I don't see it until I get up, pick up my phone, and then I'm like, "Good God, slow down, calm down."
He's been up since 3:30.
He's out there on his bike, like just texting thoughts.
Oh, you can tell when Jordy's brain is whirring,
Yeah.
and it's never at the same time as any of us. It's just like rattles off. You're like, whoa.
telling you.
They're just getting hit with body
Bro,
blows.
it's
Like,
2 a.m.
Between 2 and 5, I am electric.
Except I
should move the
don't.
show up.
I am electric.
Oh my
I'm
God,
telling
shut
you.
up!
God,
I don't
hey,
have
we
my.
should, we should go live at 2:30.
Jeez.
I'm actually right there
Probably
with
be
you.
awake, yeah.
We could be doing the Oklahoma drill.
really could do it.
Like we'd be laying down, hit the whistle, Stewie.
2:30 Chronicles.
We could just zoom everybody in, like from our beds.
Yeah,
Like
I would love it. We should do a 2:30 stream.
we should.
See, with me and Lloyd would ride to work
I mean, we
together.
could.
I would see. I'm up.
Show up.
I'm up there.
Yeah, we're
Like,
all awake. Really.
I would prefer that as opposed to
7
waking up
a.m.?
at 5. You know,
I know that's the thing.
like 2:30 is easy.
I'm
And then we're
telling
done.
you.
or 4 for
2:30 is
me.
stealing.
Around
Yeah.
For
4,
me.
I'm like, I can be like up and wide awake.
Oh,
But then
really?
if I doze back off,
That's the thing.
then and my alarm
Yeah.
goes off at 5:30,
I'm
then
pissed.
I'm
That
upset.
sleep is
Yeah, I
real.
don't
Yeah.
like that.
No,
But,
no.
like,
If I go back
naturally wake up.
down,
Yeah, that's the thing.
out.
and then I'm the rest of the day I'm
Shot.
sluggish.
Yes.
Well, you
I
can-
hate that.
and you can feel it. You know, you're like,
Yes.
oh, I don't want to go back down. So that's why you get all wired up. Like, I'm going to go exercise.
No
And
doubt.
it's like, I'm going to ride this wave. And it is that weird feeling, that in between of, should I get up? And you know, you should, like, I should also get some sleep. But then 45 minutes, you're like, that was not worth it
No,
at all.
At
it's
all.
never worth it.
No,
At
you're
all.
so tired.
Never
And
worth
that is
it.
the fastest
Oh,
45
I know.
hour 30-minute. You're like,
Yeah,
How?
I can't believe it happened.
I just closed my
Phone
eyes
is
and it was
blink.
5. Now it's 6.
I
Damn.
just blinked.
and the worst is when you try to do that, like, oh, I have time to go back to sleep, and you can't fall back to sleep,
Yes.
and you're just
You keep looking at the clock.
Uh-huh,
thinking,
and you're
okay, I
like-
have 30 minutes. I could get a nap in.
sleep math. The old
So
Scott
dumb.
Van Pelt, whenever you catch the clock and you're like, oh, I have to wake up
Subtracting
at this.
from.
Yeah, then you're just doing it in your
I'm
head.
in trouble.
Oh,
I'm
and
in
it
trouble.
keeps
I'm in big trouble today.
I'm getting up.
dude. Yeah,
I'm
right.
pissed.
Forget it, man. I'm going on a bike ride.
Poor Kelly. You're over there just tossing and turning. She's like, all right, just get up, go.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Are you at least nice and quiet when
Oh
you
yeah.
get up?
I
and
mean,
do the
now
run?
I am. I mean, we did go through a dark period. I mean, like
Turn all the
learning.
lights
Yeah,
on.
right.
Oh, you're
Flushing
in
the toilet.
wiping it off with your foot.
Letting the car run under the carport.
Oh my god.
I mean, it's cold. I gotta get the heater running, right?
Move.
Like, had the brights flashing into the
You know, there's other people here. Like, oh shit, yeah, my bad.
brushing my teeth. Yeah,
Well, you
right.
have the dog.
What did you say? Other people?
Yeah.
I saw a ghost just now.
You want to hit this?
Should I leave?
Yeah.
I mean, really, that is the reason why I started coming up here at
Yeah.
3:30, 4 o'clock
I'm sure
in the
she
morning.
appreciates that.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
You're risking your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's rude to wake someone else up
I
when
agree.
they don't have to.
I
I try to
agree.
be very quiet.
I
Like,
agree. I mean, it's kind of one of those things that you do and you like get called out on, and you're like, and then you look back on, you're like, God, what a dick.
I
Yeah,
know.
if it happened to me,
Yeah.
you know, like if you put yourself in
Oh, no
here,
doubt.
you're just like, oh my god, I'm the worst person ever.
Ever.
I don't know why I didn't think
I
about
mean,
that.
just what an
Just
inconsiderate
inconsiderate.
prick.
Yeah.
But then don't you kind of get mad at the person that is still sleeping? Like, I mean,
Oh,
you
yeah.
could be up being productive too, honestly. Like,
But
and then
I
I
don't
wouldn't
have to
have to be
be.
so quiet and do things in the dark.
I
Just
don't know,
saying.
man. I kind of feel like a big advantage, like when I'm
By
up early.
yourself.
You know,
It
like
is.
nobody's on the road.
Yeah.
You know, like
Well, I
quiet.
meant the people in your house.
No,
like-
I'm kind of like
You like it when they stay down.
stay down.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like,
Whenever I was in school, that's when I would study. I would I would set my alarm differently to wake up at like 2:30 because it was exactly like that. There's nothing going on.
Yeah.
yeah.
And so you're just like, all right, I know I'm not going to be bothered. There's no, hey, come out.
I mean, that's why you get all those email or
Yeah.
like the Slack messages
Yeah.
because I mean, it's like
Right.
my mind is just
It's
like
cooking.
I got to get this stuff out.
I know.
Right? Like, because
know.
if I get
get it.
into 9 a.m.,
Yeah.
the
it's
pool
different.
is so like, you know what I mean? It's just like
You're wading
man,
through a mess.
right?
Yeah.
But
It's
here,
totally
my
different.
brain, it's like almost stream of consciousness where you have
Mm-hmm.
nothing. It's flowing, flow state. There's nothing bothering you.
Yeah.
There's nothing to distract you.
Exactly.
For
Exactly.
sure.
It's true.
The mind is in a free state.
I do love the early morning, like
beautiful.
early, late
I do
night.
It's a
too,
beautiful,
but I also
beautiful
like
time of the
night
day.
too. Like I like to stay. I don't like to sleep. Is the deal.
I don't
like
either.
I feel like I'm
think sleep is
wasting
very
so much
overrated.
time. Me too. And I'm like, if I could just stay up, because I like being up late and I like getting up early. And I'm like, I know that's not healthy, but
Mm-hmm.
man, I hate to go to sleep. It's like I'm forcing myself every night. I'm like, what a waste. Good night.
Good night. I guess I'll go to bed now.
I guess I'll go to sleep.
Where are you going?
to bed. I think along the same lines, but also you have to sleep
You
at
do
some
have
point
to.
because you can notice like the visceral difference in yourself whenever you have it. Whenever you go like
Yes,
10 days of 4 hours of sleep and you're like, I think I'm fucking dead.
it's unhealthy.
100%.
It's
But
very unhealthy. You
I'm
die
like you.
early.
I love to stay
Yeah,
up
that's
late.
the deal, man.
I know that deal is you're gonna die.
I mean, that is
I hate to sleep, but I want to
that
live.
is kind
That
of the
permanent
deal.
nap.
You know what I mean? I will say this: that like I have been now for like 6 months hitting this Friday wall,
Like in
at,
the day?
2 o'clock, where it's
And you're done.
unrecoverable. You know what I mean?
This is when it happens.
Like if you were like, I'll give you $1 million if you hit 6 o'clock. You know what I mean? Be like, I don't know if I can do it. I mean, like,
Oh my God.
call Lloyd.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
The
Like,
guy.
that's all we got. That's the only shot we got. I don't know. I mean, I don't
Sneak it
know,
underneath
man.
there.
I don't know if I can make that happen.
All right,
That's
breathe
amazing.
deep.
Yeah, right. Lloyd, get over here, man.
I'll
You
split
got a
it with
big
you.
business opportunity.
You got $1 million
Because,
order?
like, I mean, like, I am like a mummy. I mean,
Really?
I am just like, and then like I will fall at like 4, and I'll wake up, and this is what I think screws it up. And I'll wake up at like 9,
yeah.
and I've been in a coma. I've been in a deep sleep,
Mm-hmm.
and then like my clock for the week
Yeah.
is now all whacked out. You know what I mean? Where it's like I
Yeah,
go to
that's
bed
tough.
at 3 a.m. You know, and I mean I'm kind of like forcing myself
Yeah.
to do that, and then by the time Monday comes around, I'm just
Yeah, that's
Out of whack.
it's all screwed up
Yeah.
now. You know, I mean it's all wacky now.
Ugh, that's the worst.
LSU men's basketball closed out their recruiting class don't know if you saw this. They picked up a recruit. They picked up a forward, Devin Pryor, who committed to LSU. He's the first commitment to the 2024 class. LSU was also able to wrap up another season of the transfer portal, and for all that we've talked about with LSU men's hoops and what's been going on campus as far as transfers goes. And look, tomorrow we're going to be with I mentioned we're going to be with Brian Kelly. We're also going to be with Kim Mulkey in her office and sitting down with her. And all of these interviews are going to be updated and hopefully brought back to you as quick as maybe on Thursday, and being able to turn that around. So just make sure and pay attention, and hopefully we'll have that turnaround for you. But obviously, the transfer portal was huge for Kim Mulkey, right? I mean, like, she has won a national championship. In fact, I was listening to a show yesterday on Sirius 84, which is built around college sports. Hester's on there in the afternoon. Danny Cannell and Dusty are on there in the mornings. It's a good channel if you just want college sports. And yesterday, a lot of it was featuring the transfer portal. A lot of what they were talking about was transfer portal. Garrett Nussmeier's name came up. By the way, shout out to Garrett Nussmeier. Just signed a deal with Gordon McKernan, an NIL deal, part of the G squad now. So a perfect fit with Nussmeier and Gordon. Hopefully we can get Nuss through here over the next couple of weeks or days to talk about that. But LSU was kind of the example program and university given, athletic department given on a couple of instances. I didn't know this. 25 players entered the transfer portal in between LSU firing Ed Ogeron and hiring Brian Kelly.
Really?
It was the second highest in entrance into the transfer portal, behind USC, who had 29 go into the transfer portal in between Clay Helton and Lincoln Riley. Both teams played for conference titles, right?
Okay.
How about that?
Yeah.
So they're kind of big examples of losing a ton of guys to the portal, restocking through the portal, and staying competitive.
It's a testament
right?
to a great coach.
I mean,
Yeah, it is,
right?
isn't it?
The other example they give is Kim Mulkey, right? 2 years ago, they talk about where LSU women's basketball is. A year later, Mulkey's hired. The roster's completely different. They nearly win the league. They make it to the tournament, and they kind of set the stage for a run at a national title. And then she picks up the number one transfer in the portal in Angel Reese. You know, she picks up LaDasia Williams, which I saw today. LaDasia was waived by the Indiana Fever. She already cut. Can you already
Really?
be cut?
I saw that Luther already had her jersey up, so they're probably about to get going.
Wow.
I don't know how that works.
I don't either.
Yeah, I don't
but
either.
I did see a report like it.
Bohannon probably
believe
knows from
LaDasia
Alabama. I'm sure
Williams.
he's wagering on WNBA games.
Not anymore, bro.
No,
Not anymore.
he's at the track.
I mean, Bradley's life is
Different.
Squeezed.
Cool.
He's squeezed right now.
Talk
dude.
about
I know he's pissed because he missed the Kentucky Derby too.
Oh my God.
of all weeks.
yeah.
Exactly.
I had a winner.
I had a trifecta.
I mean, I had an exacta box that I was counting on.
I was going.
But and then
Played Kentucky that
the
weekend.
next example that they give was LSU women's basketball. Of course, how they put together this roster, they win the national championship. LSU men's basketball, I think, I was looking at their class, and Hunter Dean was the latest who committed, and he was the latest in the process, and he's a guy who's played a lot of basketball for George Washington, I believe was his team where he was before. He's a Mandeville. He played at Lakeshore High School coming out, so he'll be coming home. He's another one that's going to be coming back to Louisiana to play alongside guys like Carlos Stewart and guys like that we mentioned. Jordan Wright's coming home from Vanderbilt, and obviously Jalen Cook coming back to Baton Rouge. You look at this class and you wonder, where's the splash? Outside of Cook, who was a star at Tulane, you wonder if he can, relight that star power here in Baton Rouge in the SEC. This is what we're talking about, the challenges of LSU men's basketball, right? Where you look around campus and everybody's really dominating right now. I mean, Jay Johnson cleaned up in the transfer portal in his second class. And the key to this thing is kind of looking at 2 years in. A lot of these coaches have had a chance to settle in for 2 years. And I love Matt McMahon. I think Matt McMahon's a fantastic basketball coach. I think that he is, ultimately going to put together a winning program. It's just going to take a little longer because of things, not that, he's lacking, therefore the program can't succeed. I just think that LSU men's basketball has to have to be successful. And if you look at the history of the program, I'm just kind of reading the history book, right? Where it's taken a personality like Dale Brown, love him or hate him, Will Wade, love him or hate him, right? That really takes that extra bump to get over the top, to get over that we don't really, when you think of LSU men's basketball, it doesn't really make an impact. It doesn't move the meter. It doesn't have that appeal to the masses like other things do. For as small as the baseball community is, it's a powerful, powerful group.
It's a loud voice.
Right? LSU women's basketball quickly has re-energized that group that was there in the early 2000s when they were winning. I mean, it was an army. I mean, Simone Augustus had an army with her behind those Final Fours. They fell off when the team started to lose again, but you bring back a winner and boom, ticket sales are back. Arenas are filled up. I mean, it didn't take long to re-energize that crowd, right? And in the second season, look at Jay Johnson's recruiting class. #1 recruiting class in college baseball, both in the portal and in high school. Brian Kelly's second recruiting class. Cleaned up again in the portal, was able to have massive success on the high school trail as well. Kim Mulkey's second recruiting class. I mean, I don't know if you can do any better. Anybody who was anyone in basketball, whether it's Michaela Williams, who's the best player in the country, or it's, Haley Van Lith, who's the best transfer in the country. She got them all. She got everybody in the second class. When you look at Matt McMahon's second class, it's solid. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's a solid class. You got guys that are dependable. Jordan Wright, 10 points, five rebounds a night in the SEC may not sound like a lot, but if I'm a coach and know that I can count on 10 and 5 just by parking the bus and rolling everybody off, that gives me some security. That makes me feel good. I know that I'm going to get 10 and 5 from him. Right? But where's 20 and 10 at? Where's 25 and 5 at? And like I said, Jalen Cook, he has that star power coming over from Tulane where, he was a bucket. He was a walking bucket. Does that translate to the SEC? I don't know if it does or not. I know Jalen Cook can play. I've been watching Jalen Cook play since he's been in 9th grade, 10th grade. There's no doubt about it that he can play. Can he score 20 a night in the SEC? If he can, he might be a pro.
Do you want him to?
You might have to have him to.
Because that's what that felt like the Adam Miller theory.
Yeah.
Like that's what you wanted from Wolf, but it never translated.
Right, and Wolf was, and look, Adam Miller he came in and he had this offensive player over his head because of the 23 a night that he was averaging for Illinois. He was in a very specific role for Illinois, right? I mean, he played where he didn't have to create his shot. He didn't have
catch
to
and shoot.
Yeah, he was coming off of screens. He was slashing. He was cutting. He was playing one-on-one. It wasn't. It was a different style. I'm not making excuses for Adam Miller, right? I mean, he looked like a player that was coming off of a knee injury that was a little, he's a little unconfident of his skill. He didn't know if his bounce was there. He didn't know if his speed was there. He didn't know if his first step was there. I get it, and it's to be expected, right? But you look around the league, every team's got that dude. You know what I mean? Like every team has that animal that just you got to be ready for every single night, that you got to match up on, that you got to double team, that you got to take out of the game. When I look at this roster for LSU, now look, that guy could emerge. He could be there, and we just don't know it. Maybe it's Tyrell Ward, who was here a couple of weeks ago. Maybe it's Jalen Reed. Maybe one of those guys is ready to bust out. But, now that the second class is in, and you got guys at Hunter Dean. I mean, Hunter Dean's is he 7 feet? I mean, if he's not 7 feet, he's 6'11". He's huge. Carlos Stewart's a guy coming in from Santa Clara who's a Baton Rouge kid who played at Dunham School, who played for Coach Jonathan Pixley. He's been well coached. He's a solid player. He's fundamentally sound. Jordan Wright, the same way. I mean, he's played 4 years of SEC basketball. He's been in every arena. He's been in tight games. That's good stuff to have on the roster. But where's that dude? Where's that 5-star? Where's that one and done? I mean, I'm looking at some of the basketball recruiting classes, and I believe Stephen Miller brought it up a little earlier inside of the chat, but I mean,
USC.
Whew.
I know, that's wild, right?
Did you
They
see
got
who else
Dennis
they picked
Rodman's.
up? They picked up DJ Rodman. They picked up Dennis Rodman's kid, who's been at Washington State, who is a menace. 6'6", 220, looks just like Dennis Rodman. I mean, in the face. And
Oh my goodness!
athletic.
I just googled him.
Just everything that Dennis Rodman was that made Dennis Rodman great. Forget all the off the court stuff. You turn on the film of him, the basketball player, early on as a Piston.
Had to have him.
I mean, like as a Bull. I mean,
He's
he was a
amazing.
game changer. He was a.
I don't think he gets enough credit for that
He does not.
because he was so good.
He does not. Look at
And-
Michael Jordan talk about him.
Right.
Do you think Michael Jordan's getting on a plane to go to fly to Vegas to get any other teammate? Probably
Scotty,
not.
you can
Right.
stay.
Just cut this guy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what Michael Jordan's saying. Like, forget this guy. Cut him.
Too much
Like,
of a
this
headache.
is too much. Like, Mike, you might have to go get him. Like,
All right.
All right.
And I want to go to Vegas.
right. Who's
Can
a
you
Carmen?
imagine?
Pop up the crap
Who's in the
stable.
was Carmen Electra?
Carmen Electra.
Jordan's beating on the door. Who is that?
Oh shit.
This is Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Open the door, Dennis.
Dennis Rodman would only open the door for one person.
Carmen
He was
Electra
like,
hiding in the corner under the sheets. She's like, I've never even met this guy.
time to go.
I'm scared to death of him.
That was just a bang, bang, bang. It was
Dennis,
like,
get your ass on this plane.
We're going
right
back.
now. You're going home. Like,
Such a good
we got to
It's
play
over.
it. We're playing tonight.
it's over.
All right, you had your fun.
Right.
Him pulling off on the motorcycle, drinking a beer was the most 90s thing of all time. Like, nobody cared. Like, if you did that today, they'd be like,
God.
get him.
Tackle
Like,
him.
Yeah.
That is so nice.
He was just ripping a cold Coors Light, taking off. And it's like, all right, I guess that's
But
normal.
I'm telling you, USC is going to be on television more than the Pelicans are next
Why
year.
would you not want to watch that?
Oh, my
LeBron's
God.
son and Dennis Rodman's son.
I can't wait
And
to
then
watch him play.
Who else did they pick
Isaiah
up?
Collier.
That was the other guy they just picked
that's
up?
like
Okay.
the top player.
Yeah, like that's
he's
the best
number
player.
one player, right?
Yeah, like they got
mean,
but
that's
see,
wild.
that's what happens. I don't was Collier committed before Bronny? He was.
He recruited him at the
Okay.
All-American game.
Because I got to imagine that like
Their
if
star,
I-
their
if I'm
draw.
UCLA, they got to be sick.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, in fact, I was driving around. Yeah, I was driving to Central yesterday for a meeting, and Rick Neuheisel was on, the former UCLA coach, and Neuheisel hosts a show on Sirius 84 with the Show Pony from like 10 to noon, and he was like crying about UCLA. They do stock up, stock down, and like Mick
Stock
Cronin,
way down.
he was crushing Cronin. He was like, I mean, how do you miss in Los Angeles if you're UCLA, a basketball brand? How do you miss LeBron James's kid? I mean, you're like, dang. You know what I mean? Like USC's the football school,
right?
You know? Like that's their. That's
but the
their
brand has changed. I feel like
it is.
It has.
Not from like a football to basketball, but just as a school. It feels like the NIL has helped them tremendously to be. You can be a star here, no matter they're turning it back into early 2000s USC, where it's cool to be a part of the brand again. Especially, I mean, LeBron James Jr. is probably the best example of that. Like we can make this thing fun again, and UCLA doesn't have that same. Obviously, it's a basketball blue blood, maybe the first one on the list, but it doesn't have that same appeal to me. You don't think like when you think of college in California, USC.
You don't think of UCLA as a basketball school anymore?
Really?
Like that?
No,
really?
I don't.
Have you been out? Have you been to the campus?
No, I know it's gorgeous.
It is
but
beautiful.
And I
Especially
know
compared to
USC's. I've heard that.
You know,
but
USC's is in the hood.
yeah,
it's like downtown. It's like in Compton, bro.
But so much more
Central.
money at
Yeah.
USC.
What's that?
So much more money at USC.
Yeah, I mean they've
though.
got very distinguished alumni.
It's
Like
just a
Dr.
bunch
Dre.
of rich kids.
I mean, Dr. Dre has like funded this music program out there that is attracting all types of talent. I mean, Bronny's got a Beats by Dre deal.
right.
I mean, they say he's going to be earning upwards of $7 million
So dumb.
next year. I don't know if he can earn $7 million as a pro. I mean, I guess if I'm a team, I would take him in the first round because I would think that I'm getting his dad.
Right.
But I mean, when it came down to it, how long am I getting his dad for first?
At least 1 year.
So I mean, like, how much? I mean, but I need to know: can this kid play? Can he play in the league?
Because he's going to be a one and done.
Because his dad,
it's going to make him.
His dad,
LeBron owns the league.
Sure,
He's going to coerce him into like, all right, like the Lakers will have
stock,
to move the farm.
I mean, he's gotten significantly. I mean, and obviously, I mean, I think this happens just naturally, but I mean, between his sophomore and senior year, he's become a totally different prospect.
I think he's going to be an NBA player. I think he's going to be able to make it in the league. And people, he caught a ton of flack for just being LeBron James's kid. They're like, oh, that's the only reason people are watching him. But you watched him go from in 8th grade, like trying to dunk, to 12th grade doing, windmills between the legs, like off the glass. And it's like, oh, okay, he's LeBron James' kid. Like, you can tell. And he's got a more polished game than LeBron, like at least from a jump shooting standpoint coming out of high school. I don't see how he doesn't at least earn an opportunity to be on a roster in the NBA. Like,
Who
he'll
else
be a
paying
project.
him Besides Beats by Dre, who else is paying him?
Nike.
And
I mean,
PSG.
I kind of feel like when you're that person and you have that kind of money, like from LeBron, that kind of money, like maybe you decline a couple of NIL deals. Like maybe you don't earn $7 million.
Well, you
at that
want
age.
Nike, you want Beats by
I know
Dre.
you
Like,
want
these are
it,
great
but, like,
deals.
I mean, but
So,
like he has to think
in the
about
same sense, if I'm Nike, just like we're talking about, USC is about to become one of the most powerful brands in college basketball overnight.
Yeah.
You're about to wake up next year. You're in basketball season. You'll be like, I didn't even know USC had a basketball program. I mean, I watch them every single day. I know their team. I mean, by the time Christmas hits next year, you'll probably know like the 4th or 5th player on USC's team, just because they're going to be always on television. If I'm Nike, I want Bronny.
I mean,
wearing my stuff.
I know they want
You know what I mean? Like, I want him out there promoting my brand. And if you're Bronny, and I'd imagine, I don't want to speak for him, but I mean, man, at some point,
I know at some point.
I wonder how much he wants to be a one and done and get in the league and play on the same team as his dad. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, at what point does it become, hey, man, it's my dream.
Yeah.
I'm 19. What's a 19-year-old in the NBA doing, you think, in his rookie year? He ain't sleeping.
No.
You know what I mean? He don't have to sleep. I can stay up all night. I can drink. I can party. I can do all the things that a 19-year-old with a pocket full of cash is doing, right? If I'm looking over and I see my dad, like, it might be cool for the first month. You know what I mean? But like, come like February and March, and like, dude, like, I want to go hang with the boys. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to hang with my dad.
And I don't want to ask permission.
I don't think it'll be like that.
No,
you know
but
what
I mean, it's like bringing
But
your dad. It's
still-
like bringing your dad to a bachelor party. It's
still your
like
dad.
we're boys, but I don't want to see you at the strip club. Like,
Exactly.
like this is
It is
like
like
we're
that.
friends, but
Exactly.
like I don't want to see you go to the upper
I
room.
mean, yeah, I mean, it's like, I don't want to be, I'm not trying
You're always
to.
looking over your shoulder. But I think and LeBron has said this. Like I think he talked about it last week whenever it came up again about him being one and done or wanting to play until his son is in the league. He's like, look, it's not up to me. It's totally on Bronny. It's Bronny's journey.
I hope that's true.
Yeah, it 100%
hope
is.
so.
He's been an
believe
awesome
that it
parent.
is. I believe that it is. And I don't think that he's trying to steal Bronny's dream. But I also do understand that he wants to play on the same team as him. And he wants to, he's kind of forcing his dream to be his son's dream.
Yeah,
it's contingent on LeBron.
I mean, what if his kid really his kid probably needs more
2
than
years.
1 year.
Yeah.
I mean, you look around at some of the guys that, play more than 1 year in the league. I mean, I just saw where Tari Eason was named all second team NBA. I mean,
all rookie.
All rookie, second team NBA. I mean, that's incredible. It's a 4-year college player.
Right.
I mean, that's a testament to that. I mean, Tari's he's not an all second team rookie league player if he comes out after his second or third year. I mean, that's a testament for going back, developing your body, getting ready.
Your game.
I'd imagine that Bronny's got a couple of more inches in a growth spurt left. I mean,
Probably.
he's 6'5" now. You look at his brother, Bryce James, who is
spurted up.
He's a lottery pick.
And he wasn't.
Bryce James, he's not. Yeah, he wasn't supposed to be. He was playing video games 2 years ago.
Yeah.
How old is he?
He's
15,
15,
Ninth grade,
and
like
he's
ninth grade,
6'8", and he's
dunking already.
jumping over
Of course,
people.
yeah.
I mean, he's
Got the goggles.
LeBron junior I mean, he's got LeBron's athleticism. Not that Bronny doesn't. I mean, he's got the whole deal.
Yeah.
I mean, his body is ready.
Yeah.
And he's 15. I can't imagine what he's gonna look like when he's 18.
Yeah, he might be like done growing. I don't know because he's already that tall, but he's gonna you'll see the
Yeah.
He'll
shape.
fill out.
He'll
Square
start.
up,
Yeah, he's
where
about
you're
to
like,
because
oh
that's what
my
happened to
God.
Bronny. We were like, oh, that looks like LeBron.
Well, now Bronny's jumping.
Yeah.
Like his explosion.
He got cut up. You could see
he's
when it
different.
hit.
His athleticism. He's
Well, look
jumping
at
off
what
of 1
LeBron
foot,
has.
where it's like.
Like, look at his resources. You think
Yeah.
that his kids aren't getting that?
No, no. And I mean,
that's
but still,
different
it's
level.
I mean, look, man. I saw Michael Jordan's kid play at Illinois. LSU was playing in the Maui Classic with Illinois. Jordan was out there. His son was on the team. His son couldn't play dead in a Western. You know what I mean? He couldn't play. He would be the last pick in a pickup game.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a ton of pressure that comes with being Michael Jordan's
Hell
kid,
yeah.
LeBron James's kid. You know what I mean? Dennis Rodman's kid's kind of I didn't even know he had a kid.
I know, me
You know what I
neither.
mean?
Yeah.
Wow. You know what I mean? He's a pro too. You know?
Right.
I mean, but to be LeBron James's kid, I mean, when Michael's kid, when MJ's kid was coming up, he was out of the league. You know, Bronny's still one of the best players on the planet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
different.
It's just it's a crazy amount of pressure, I'd imagine, to be that person and to be as good as they are. I think
Yes.
is incredible. I think it's
It
amazing.
is.
I would love to see Bronny get the full college experience. If he needs to go back for another year, I hope he does.
I
I
do
doubt he
too.
does. I'm with you. I think he's a one and done. I think it's all it's already a done deal.
Well, because he's going to get signed.
Right.
I
He's
hope
going to
he
get drafted.
doesn't. I hope
Well,
he
no, they're going
stays.
to. If you get LeBron for 2 years, you'll take that, especially what you see at 38. What's going to be I don't think it's going to be a precipitous fall. You know,
Right.
he'll be able to. I don't know if LeBron's a starter anymore. He might come off the bench. He might run. Point for. He'll transform his game again to where he's going to look like MJ with the Wizards, where he's backing you down the post, and he won't be. I mean, this is stupid to say because who doubts LeBron? He's still hurdling people over the first row in the playoffs. He's doing the same thing he was doing when he was 22.
You think LeBron runs in the 40?
oh my god.
Oh God.
Because on that play
What do, you,
right there,
what do you think he ran in the 40 in 2000?
I would rather
12.
get him in the 60 because once he picks those things up, get going.
I'm telling you, I saw him catch in New Orleans one time. The only time I've ever seen him play, he caught an outlet pass, and he was playing. This is Cleveland, young Cleveland, first contract Cleveland. He's standing at the timeline, and he catches the ball on the run. He catches the ball on the run, and he's running downhill, and in 3 dribbles, boom, 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 he's at the rim. Whack! I mean,
quick.
Dude, young.
throwing the ball out in front of him, dribbling.
What
and
just happened?
covering. He's probably covering 8 feet per stride. You know what I mean? He's just
Get in front of that.
holy shit.
Blink and you missed it.
That is a different type of athlete. That is I guarantee you he ran 4.3 in his
Yeah. In high
like
school.
when he was
And he's 6'7".
moving.
Bear 24 says 4.4.
Yeah.
He probably still runs a 4.4.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I
And
could-
he's 40.
yeah.
I mean, he's 40 years old.
He's still in the same shape. Like
Yeah, he is.
Young Cleveland, he was just an athlete.
Oh,
he wasn't working out.
When his feet would hit the ground, he would bounce off the floor. Like he would, like remember when he would get in the open floor and like he would almost be like a gazelle. I mean, it was almost like his feet didn't touch the ground where he would be bouncing. Some of those dunks of his, like where he had like over Detroit. Remember that playoff game where his first coming out party
When he
in the
scored,
league?
what, 23
I think
straight?
he scored like 25 and a quarter.
I remember where I was watching that.
I do too. And he was jumping. I believe it was like Ben Wallace and them.
Yeah.
And he was like jumping over those guys. And you could tell like on their face, they were like,
It was the changing of the
I
guard.
don't even know what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to do with this guy.
He went total blackout mode. And I remember my brother was throwing a party at our house in high school, and we had like a little TV outside. Everybody was playing beer pong, whatever. And I just was like transfixed to the TV, like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "He is putting on a show right now that nobody was paying attention to." And I was younger, obviously, so I was like, "This is unbelievable."
His open floor steal runouts, cock the ball back, where he would jump from
Wherever
he wanted, is still to this. I mean, I'm telling you, his second year with the Heat was his. I think that's the apex of LeBron. I think that's
he was like
the
265,
best,
270.
Where the picture of him and D Wade, where he drops it back to him and LeBron's over him and D Wade. That's probably peak LeBron. I mean,
Athleticism.
Still floats,
Oh, yeah, but
floats with the peak. But to me, that's probably the mountaintop where he was just bigger, stronger, faster
Than that.
everybody.
Yeah, it looks like he's on steroids.
didn't matter
Like, who brought him?
Didn't matter what you
Check
did.
his ID.
Who you put out there. It just.
I'm a dominate.
Have you seen his football highlights?
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean,
he's good. Like,
I think he was all state.
yeah, he was. They made him stop playing.
He's good.
He's good. I mean, I think he only played until his sophomore year, right?
Yeah.
And then it was like, bro, what are you doing out here?
I think,
But he's dominating. Like,
Yeah,
obviously,
I think it was Adidas actually that shut it down.
he was supposed to go with Adidas.
Right. Sonny Vaccaro.
St. Vincent St. Mary was in Adidas school. How do you botch that job? Not let Sonny in. And then you saw him when they played flag football, him and Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
you're like,
yeah.
oh my God, he's playing the wrong sport, maybe.
I mean,
It's
with
insane.
to
He
me,
plays safety.
The best athletes of the NBA are the best athletes in the world.
Absolutely. You're
Russell
just
Westbrook.
physical.
Oh my God.
Could you
Westbrook,
imagine
like,
what Russell
Getting hit
Westbrook
over the
would
middle
be
by
like
Russell West at
in
safety?
Just like a athletic. Like, let's just test their athleticism. Hey, Rush, jump over that car.
You're a
You know
ball
what
of
I mean?
muscle.
Like, how many tires do we stack up, Russ? To you can't jump over 'em?
Right.
Because
You know
you
what I mean?
have to be in perfect condition. Every
Russell-
one of them. You can't have a belly. I mean, think about like looking at football players, baseball players. Like no basketball
And
player.
these are the
looks like
guys that we know.
Yeah.
There's guys tucked away on benches that are super freaks that just don't have a lot of basketball skill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like you give them like an athletic test
Yeah.
and you're like, hey, we got to get this guy. Like put him on the roster. Like, coach, he can't shoot. I don't care. Put him on the roster.
He can do something.
Right? Like,
Well, it's like
we'll
the-
teach him how to shoot.
Right.
Who's the guy that just got signed? He put out his tape for the NFL, and he was undrafted, and he put out his highlight tape, and they signed him immediately.
Marlon
Who?
Taylor.
I'm trying to think of his name, but it was.
But I mean, Marlon Taylor, LSU basketball player. I'm telling you, he was a
Oh, yeah. Oh,
he was
my-
a baseball player. He was a center fielder, and he was playing baseball in New York at a school. So like they would always practice inside.
Yeah.
And during one of these inside practices, somebody puts a quarter on the top of the backboard and raises the goal back up to 10 feet, and Marlon Taylor like vertically jumps and grabs the quarter off the top, and the basketball coach is like, "Who is that?"
Exactly.
And the basketball he's like, "That's my center fielder." He's like, "Not anymore."
No.
He's like, "That dude is what?"
He might have been the most athletic person to
was
come
scared,
through
dude.
LSU.
It was-
Like just
Oh my
just
God.
jumping. Like
I'm telling you.
whenever he took off, and you're like, Marlon Taylor's about to do something.
Marlon Taylor
and he was
was-
this close to always just making your jaw drop.
Oh, like cracking his head on the rim.
Yes.
Like you would be like, "Oh my God."
Even the lift on his jumper,
Like-
you're just
like-
like Jesus Christ.
Jesus.
He should
man.
be. He should be running
The Wizards
track
signed
and
him.
field. Yeah, why not?
Can't play basketball a lick. I mean, like cannot. shoot a lick.
But would win a dunk contest
But
today.
An NBA team, you're like, we need that guy. Like, because, all the coaches are like arrogant. Like, we can teach you how to shoot. You know what I mean? We can't teach you how to jump like that.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's freak athletes. Jeff and Kenner, Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson is still to this day. I mean,
All-American football player.
my uncle says, and my uncle is the reason probably why I was a sports fanatic, because growing up, he was a sports
Gambler.
fanatic. Gambler. Still is a gambler.
That's what happened to me. It was my uncle. He's like, well, I got
Exactly.
a dime on the game. And I was like, what's that mean? I was like, oh,
Allen
I'm
Iverson.
extremely interested now.
Athletes. I mean, you talk
Newport
about
News,
athletes,
Virginia.
Just, I mean, what he would do to NBA pros. I mean, the guy's 5'10", dude. Maybe.
And
Maybe.
it'll get you 40.
In a blink.
And can play quarterback.
Travis McGraw, courtside NBA is scary. You'll realize quickly who the best athletes in the world
What a
are.
brag.
That's true.
Real quick. LSU forever. Why are we giving LeBron and Bronny this much time? I don't know.
We're just talking sports.
Yeah.
What else is going on?
LeBron plays tonight. There you go.
I saw that LSU missed out on a defensive back as one of the transfers, one of the big transfer names in the portal. Trey Amos out of UL transferred to Bama, as Alabama picked up another transfer portal defensive back on Tuesday. Amos took an unofficial to LSU on Friday. He made his way to Alabama on Saturday for a 2-day visit in Tuscaloosa. The 6'2", 200-pounder played in just over 30 games in Lafayette. He started 10 of them, and during the 22 season had 8 pass breakups. Other offers included LSU, Florida, Auburn, Arkansas, Ole Miss, Miami, all of them, Oklahoma, Texas A&M. He is a Louisiana native. He went to Catholic High, New Iberia, and is headed off to Tuscaloosa. This is somebody that I know LSU had high on their board. This is somebody that they wanted. They've been in the defensive backfield, or in the defensive back transfer portal, and wanted to add some more bodies, and they missed there. So that is for LSU. I know somebody that they really wanted that lands with one of their big rivals. So LSU misses yesterday in the portal.
But hop back in for Antonio Carter, who is the top-rated defensive back left in the portal from Rhode Island. It is between LSU and Florida. Just both dropped offers after Amos went to Alabama. So back in the game.
So you see their plan.
Clearly won a corner.
They clearly wanted Amos. They thought if they miss on Amos, they're going to put a lot of effort and try to get a Rhode Island corner in Antonio Carter. As Lloyd said, he's down from Orlando, so they are fighting a little bit of a hometown here with the University of Florida and LSU. He's from that part of the country, but we just saw that not mean anything for Amos. So hopefully LSU can cash in on Carter here. But that's the news as of late here and the latest of the transfer portal. Remember, Daily, we're brought to you by Katie's Restaurant down in New Orleans. Get in touch with Katie's online at katie'sinmidcity.com. If you're in the city and you're looking for a taste of New Orleans, stop in and see them at Katie's. They're down on Iberville Street in Mid-City, 3701 Iberville Street. Got great taste on the menu, from St. Louis-style pizza to the New Orleans classics and tastes that you can find over at Katie's. Been around since 1984. All of the menu online at katie'sinmidcity.com. If you're down in the city, check out their sister restaurant, Francesca's by Katie's. Francesca's by Katie's down in New Orleans, located in Lakeview. katie'sinmidcity.com. We'll be back. We got Jacques coming up here at 8:15. We'll have the second hour for you.
And we'll take your calls.
That's right. We will.
y'all.
We'll have the mailbag just to start you off here.
Yeah, y'all call us 225
229
Go ahead.
7741 Road Camaro. I'm
Second
just
hour,
trying to get ahead of you throwing out somebody else's phone number,
Oh, the
honestly.
ESPN flip phone.
some random.
225
Y'all call us or text us,
715
then we'll come back from the break and talk to y'all.
7741.
Hit that like button, share button, comment button. We'll be back with more of the show right after this. Built by R&B Builders. Donaldsonville Glass and Body, the trusted name in frame, body, and automotive paint repair since 1977. They have served their customers for over 45 years. You can find them online at dgbauto.com or stop in and see them Railroad Avenue and Division Street out in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Look, they can help you with your insurance claims. They can make the repair process as stress-free as possible. I'm speaking from experience here. I've got numerous windshields, body repair, all done by Kenny and the crew over at Donaldsonville Glass and Body. They are, without question, the most well-equipped shop in the area. Stop in and see them today. Shop them online, dgbauto.com, or stop in and see the crew over in Division Street in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Donaldsonville Glass and Body. Hey fellas, it's Jordy Culotta for my friends over at Men's Total Health. Guys, do you suffer from fatigue, decreased libido, erectile dysfunction, weight gain or loss of muscle mass, signs of depression, anxiety, hair loss, mental fog, general loss of interest? Then you might be suffering from low testosterone. Go see my friend Mike Roach and his great team over at Men's Total Health over in Metairie at menstotalhealth.net online. And stop in and see how they can change your life today. A simple shot and some knowledge from Mike Roach can get you back up, moving with your energy, get your sex drive back, build your muscle mass, make you feel young again. All online, menstotalhealth.net. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz.
The Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you by A-Bears Lawn Maintenance. Commercial or residential, A-Bears Lawn Maintenance is ready to work. A-Bears can tackle all your homeowners association requirements. Call Blake at 225-485-8022. A-Bears Lawn Maintenance.
Get Gordon and get it done. Get Gordon and get it done. Corrects done. Personal injury done. Workers' comp done. Truck wrecks done. Get Gordon and get it done. Get Gordon and get it done.
In 1975, Mike Anderson left the gridiron for the grill, opening a po' boy shop near LSU. If you're from Louisiana, odds are you've tasted a dish, experienced the tradition of Mike Anderson's seafood. 48 years later, the tradition of Mike Anderson's lives on with the next generation.
I'm very thankful.
He's never allowed okay to be okay. It's a driving force for me to just want to keep it as good as he made it.
Mike Anderson's Seafood and WAFB, celebrating the community. Welcome back.
The show within the show.
It's always a great
Man.
show.
We need to put our breaks behind a paywall, honestly.
Patreon.
Yeah. Patreon breaks.
Lloyd.
No, nobody can hear that.
Lloyd Bertman.
The life this man lives.
It's unreal.
Yeah, can't kill a cockroach.
It's unreal, dude. Nuclear war.
Guess where I sat for the baseball game?
All right, mailbag time. 225-229-7741. We got a question, Lloyd. Stewie, who we got?
Hi, Jordy, Katie, and crew.
Hello.
Just wanted y'all to know that I listen every morning from Cleveland, Ohio.
Hell yeah, dude.
I'm a musician whose job has taken me to Cleveland. But y'all keep me in touch with my heart and soul. Thank you, and go Tigers. Brendan Caldwell.
Oh,
What's up, Brendan?
Yeah, Brendan.
That's sweet.
Send us some beats.
Yes,
Appreciate
Brendan.
you.
What type of music?
Yeah, what we make it over there?
Keep the DMs coming.
Yeah, send them to.
In fact, we're in the
Me.
documentary space,
Ooh.
and
The
it's
music licensee is the hardest thing to get.
the music is the toughest.
Music was what killed you.
It's the music.
You gotta have a playlist.
He doesn't know what a playlist is.
You should hit
Sandy Bear.
It's time to go. It's 7:30.
What
You
do
gotta
you think
go
about these
home.
playlists?
It's iPod. Oh my god.
Any other questions over there, Stu? What we got?
The music I have for that show is a little
This
different.
is a good one. This is a good one, Hunter. This is a good one. Mailbag. If you had to choose to fight either 30 squirrels, 2 wolves, or 1 gorilla to the death, they're all trying to eat you. Which one are you taking?
Wait, squirrel, gorilla, or what?
30 squirrels,
2 wolves are
2
out,
wolves,
right?
or 1 gorilla.
30 squirrels. What the hell kind
2
of question
wolves,
is that?
Coach?
Coach, that's it.
2
You can't
wolves.
win against
out.
2 wolves or a
I mean,
gorilla.
like,
Do you have to fight them or can you like scare them off?
A gorilla is hitting you one time.
Gorilla
and
is
you're
out the
over.
question.
It's over.
Yeah, I'm out.
Out
mean,
on
a
the gorilla.
I mean,
Yeah.
It's
I'm out
over.
on the.
if I ever
the
meet
gorilla.
anyone who can beat a gorilla, I want to.
Yeah, do you
Hang
roll
on.
my
Nobody
team?
can. There's no way.
I mean, I don't
Or
know.
2 wolves.
Yeah, there's the
I mean,
question-
You could get lucky with 2 wolves. But
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Might be able to like scare them off,
Hunter,
like
Maybe.
get
what are we talking
big.
about? Like, do I have a weapon?
30
like, am I like?
Yeah.
Give me some context. On
And
this.
30
Like,
squirrels would be a disaster. Like it would death by 1,000
Yeah, I
paper
mean,
cuts,
you're
where you're
gonna
just
be
like
your Achilles. That's your Achilles, bro.
like,
Die
that would
of
be the worst way.
rabies,
I would
I
rather
guess.
get killed by a
I mean,
gorilla.
give me the gorilla.
Yeah, just rip me
Oh,
apart.
so you take the
Really?
gorilla.
Then you're scared
mean-
of 30 squirrels?
30
30
squirrels. and a-
squirrels. I mean, you're either looking at a 4-hour death
Or a
4-second
second,
death.
yes.
Coach, I'm thinking
You can stomp
30
a squirrel.
squirrels. I'm going like
You
What's the squirrels? What's their?
Rabies.
Like they're
They'll
measurables.
bite you
Okay.
and give you rabies. But you can
Yeah.
get a shot for that,
yeah,
right?
you get a shot for
You
that.
No,
can
but
stomp
if
a
they're trying to
squirrel.
kill you, and there's 30 of them at once, you have 0 chance of living.
Okay,
Bro,
that is
what-
not. I don't believe that.
You have
don't
no
know the
we-
con-
how would you
don't
get a
know the
squirrel off
context
of you?
behind this. You don't know if you have a weapon.
Break their
you might have a
necks.
weapon.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
If
They're
you give me a
little.
golf club,
A golf, or it's just something
Or
to
a
spray
baseball
at.
bat.
I mean,
yeah, I just need
Yeah.
a weapon against 30
Give me a
squirrels that I could.
blowtorch.
Oh yeah.
Stomp
Then I'll
them or
take any
break
of
their
them on.
necks. That's easy. Break their necks.
That was, I don't
One
want
by
to touch a
one.
squirrel like that.
You have to if you're fighting for your life.
This is from Hunter
Who
Fournette.
the hell asked this
Hunter
question?
Fournette.
Hunter Fournette.
And
what
he
are you
texted
doing?
again.
Squirrels
and
have more of that like
He said,
Gordy Rush
Katie,
neck.
he
Yeah.
said, Katie, 30
Eleven.
squirrels will fuck you up.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
But so will a gorilla or 2 wolves.
That's what I'm saying. So like,
I
I'm taking
mean,
the 30
a
squirrels.
Two
wolf
wolves
to
is
the
the-
jugular. It's over.
The 2 wolves is like immediate death. Like that's like,
I see. I think I could convince them. Maybe we're boys.
oh, so you
Get on their level.
The wolf.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What do you-
like look them in
That
the
is-
eyes.
that's
You got
your
Crocodile
only hope.
Dundee on him?
What are you
Your only
bowing down
hope,
to?
yeah. Well, to treat him like a dog. I mean,
tried-
that'd be your only hope.
Yeah,
to
I
be
tried
like,
to-
come here.
That's
Yeah,
exactly
right.
what I would do.
Okay.
And it's just showing teeth at you.
I'm telling you, the way I look at Mike the Tiger and the way he looks at me, we've got to.
Oh
there's
my
something
God.
there. I could get in that cage.
Please
You got
somehow
in.
get in that
Yeah,
Yeah,
cage.
we'd be good.
Next
He'd roll
question,
over,
Stu. We got.
pat his belly.
I'm Jeff.
And Kenner on the line.
Oh, I gotta
Jeffrey.
get my headphones.
Look at these. You look Dan Canterbury.
Hold on, Jeff.
Hey, Jeff.
Hello, Jeff.
Hello.
Jeffrey.
Good morning.
How's it going?
Hello.
Hey, you know what? It's funny. Great segue. I was going to call since it's Mississippi State week, beat Mississippi State week, Katie. I was going to ask you what is the most aggravating thing in the world other than cowbells? But now we have squirrels eating us. We have gorillas. We have cowbells. I think that would be the most awful torture in the world, would be in a room full of cowbells.
You get killed
and
by
you would
cowbell?
you would actually just you would actually just kill yourself after
by
about 15
migraine.
minutes of cowbells.
Oh man, that's my favorite sound in the world. Actually, I'd love to be in a room full of cowbells right now.
Oh Lord. So I was going to put that out there for the bunker.
really
What is the
believe
most aggravating sports thing in the world for me? Absolutely, is cowbells.
Really?
Because I just came yesterday from an awards ceremony with screeching girls, high school. Every time they announced somebody getting an award, my head was about to explode after about 20 minutes, and I had to sit there for an hour and a half. Oh my God.
I've been there.
Man.
Kids' night.
Oh Lord. Hey, but I do have a request. I have a special request, Katie, and I've asked you for the JD impersonation hour. Today, I would like y'all to ask JD to do an interview while in studio and interview Kim Mulkey about her recruiting, and then Jim Hawthorne and Skip about LSU baseball and their prospects for Omaha. I would like him to do those in his voice because he is a master at those three voices.
Yeah, he is.
We are gonna. Thank you, Jeff. It's good to hear from you.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
We are.
Thanks, Jeff.
We're gonna do a. We need
Spin
to
the
do a
wheel.
wheel.
Spin the
A
wheel.
wheel of personality for JD.
We can put that together. We
God,
have,
I
a
wish.
tier list coming up for Mother's Day.
I wish he could do the George Sells.
Oh, that's another
I mean,
Patreon.
it is just
Exactly.
so good.
I wish I knew him the way that
George's
you
name
did.
came up at the meeting yesterday. Yeah, I couldn't stop laughing.
That's such a deep cut.
It is so good. No, that's what makes JD's work masterful. is
Yes.
that he
Yeah.
knows all the inside.
He's playing to his audience.
Yeah, he knows all the inside.
The text he sent us
It's so
is so
good.
funny.
All right, JD's supposed to be here in a minute. He's going to be here at 8:15. What we got, Stu? You got anything else over there?
Message from Cordell.
Who we got?
Which unknown would you want to know? What is in the galaxy or what is in the ocean?
I
Not
don't,
in
I
the
don't want to
ocean.
know what the
Both
ocean.
scare me to death.
I don't want to know.
honestly.
I don't know. I don't
Too
wanna-
vast.
I don't want to know what the ocean.
But I think the galaxy to me, like when I don't understand something, like I'm like it's like space to me. Like my mind, there's no way my mind could ever wrap around space or anybody's mind.
The galaxy
really.
is space.
I mean that's a lot. But the
ceiling
ocean,
is
like
the
there is an
roof.
end to the ocean. Like there is a floor,
Don't make me
and
think.
like people have been to it. I know there are parts of
Mariana's
the ocean that
Trench.
haven't been explored, but there is an ocean floor.
It's so
Is
dark
there
down
a
there.
space ceiling?
What if they run
No.
into each other? Like if you dig far enough,
Oh my
you get to
God.
China. What if you go deep enough down, you end up in space?
What? Huh?
Like-
you just said go to China. Where are we? Why are we going to China?
People used to say,
Say that
if you dig
a hole-
deep enough, you get to China. You've never heard that saying before?
You could dig from America all the way straight through, and you would end up in China.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if you go deep enough in the water, if you go so far down, you actually end up.
I mean, eventually, because you'd come out the other side of Earth and
Lloyd,
keep
that's
going
just-
out into space.
That's kind of like a high take.
It
Oh, well,
totally is.
I mean, I watched a lot of Planet Earth. What do you think? How do you think? You had to think I'm napping?
It totally is.
It's completely like I'm baked.
I did watch Planet Earth. It was the water series. There's a new one out, and
Oceans?
David Attenborough is like the GOAT. His voice, whenever he's voicing these things, and he also guilt trips you to hell and back about the planet. Like I'm not doing any
Yeah.
of this. This is not my none of anybody that's watching Planet Earth.
Global warming is not my
Probably,
fault.
it probably is like a pretty big advocate for the planet. Like we're cool with it. Like you're not talking to the right audience. Like
I
all
hope
of
you're
the
cool with the planet.
all
that
the
you live
people that
on.
are like not truthers are like, oh, shut the hell up, David.
Right.
Turn this off. Like I'm
Kyrie.
like, damn, we're killing the earth.
Flat earthers.
Yeah, but it's just a
Kyrie.
phenomenal high experience.
It
I
is.
bet.
What are y'all more scared of?
Orcas.
Space or
Number one.
ocean?
Ocean freaks
Yeah,
me out.
ocean
Beyond
for
Really?
sure. Yeah.
I'm scared of I'm not scared of the water.
I am,
swim,
Stewie.
but, like that
Oh.
deep is
Yeah, deep.
I'm out.
I would just think of being on the ocean at night and it being dark and you're alone.
Well, so would
and
space.
nothing.
It would be
Yeah,
the
but,
same.
like-
No, there's like bright spots.
Yeah,
There's
but like
stars.
there's nothing
Not
in
once
space.
you get way out there.
Hey, I'm talking about the sounds you would hear in the ocean
Yeah.
by yourself at night.
Katie, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Katie, think about like
Take
the
me
stuff that can get
to-
you in the ocean.
But I'm
Space.
still staying
Take me
on
into
planet
space.
Earth. I'm not out in space floating around.
I'd rather not be.
Yeah,
Oh
same.
my God, y'all. Are
Would you rather
crazy.
die, like in space, just floating, in the gravity, like no gravity, and you're just around?
Die how that you can't breathe? Like
Like
die.
you're just in space, and eventually you die, or like just at sea.
I don't want to drown. Drowning really.
No,
freaks
you're not.
me
You're
out.
like you're not.
I mean, like,
You're just on a boat.
no
what if
food.
you're on
Oh,
a-
you just.
What if you're,
you're
on
just-
a floatable?
Well,
Yeah.
how are you dying?
No food, no
Just
water
because of no
supply.
food or water. Or
Yeah, you
anything?
can't- yeah.
I'd rather die floating on the ocean. I would not rather. I mean, you want
I
to
would love
float
to
out
just-
in the unknown of space, like.
Imagine that
I mean, what if Jaws rolls up on you?
Well, then that's quick and easy.
At night.
You're done. right?
You know
What does that sound like?
Oh,
What's it
I
feel
can't
like?
imagine, but like,
What's that feel like with your toes under the water?
ass in the sand.
I mean, it's
And
over
the
pretty quick though.
the scales run across the bottom of your
Oh.
feet, bro.
and you can't see
I'm
anything.
walking on water
Yeah,
at that point.
I might just go down. Just
But
get
then
me.
it's over. You're done. You can't see your hand in front of your face out in outer space, and you're floating around having no idea what
I
you
think
could
you can
encounter.
see in space, right? Isn't that why they have
Not
like the
when
big
you're
visor?
like way
so.
out.
Yeah, I think you
I
can
mean,
see
if you're
in
like
space.
on a moon or
I would
on
think
a
that
planet,
would be a quick, if you get out into the, you
you're-
get out into the
you're
atmosphere,
dead.
you're done.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're dead.
Death by, death by Milky Way.
Yeah,
But if
that would
you
be
had-
awesome. Like if that's the
Yeah,
last thing I
right.
see,
Right.
be like, oh man, what an incredible visceral experience. Or you
This-
get picked up by
this is
aliens
my
and
whole
you,
life.
yeah.
Ah, freaks me out.
All right.
Death by alien, I'm all about.
I know you are. You would love that.
all
You'd be like, take me. If
all
this
in.
is how I go, take me.
Well, don't kill me.
I was, which I've tried to negotiate here on the front end with them. But look, I'm going to play by your rules. I'm not trying to write the rule book when I show up. But
Yeah, I'm a team player.
I'm here to party, boys.
Yeah, what do you got?
Like, I'm not here to trade any secrets or anything. I'm not taking anything back with me.
What's your measurement system?
Yeah, right. What kind of sports y'all play over here?
Pickleball?
Yeah, y'all got a game we can go watch or something?
Just playing pinball all the time?
Tickets, sweets,
Kill the human.
drugs. What are we doing today, boys?
Open up.
Cordell has another question.
Hit me.
Start, cut, bench. Pat P, TM7.
Oh God.
Stingley.
What's your problem, Cordell?
Wait, say him
Start.
again.
Start, bench, cut.
Right. Say the
Good
people
Lord.
again.
Patrick Peterson.
I mean,
Tyrann Matthew.
You kids is unanswerable.
This is
Okay.
this is not a fun
FMK.
game, Cordell.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
Oh,
Damn.
in my heart of hearts.
I'm cutting Stingley.
Yeah.
I'll say that. I'll put that
Are you
one
doing
out there.
best year they had at LSU?
No, I think he's just
Or
saying
just the
as it stands.
Are we going overall career?
Overall
golly,
career,
jeez.
This is tough.
it might be. Is Pat P had an overall better career than Tyrann? Like, just
I'm starting
Personal
Tyrann, benching
performance.
Pat, cutting Stingley.
Katie, I don't know.
That's just my opinion. You don't
starting
have to
Pat,
like it.
bench and T.
Yeah.
Cutting
I think,
Stingley.
Really? Okay.
I think that's my order.
Oh, y'all are all cutting Stingley though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel bad, but like I just
only had 1 year.
It's just my love for Tyrann Matthew and
Yeah, I
Patrick
know.
Peterson is
Yeah, that's what really is a nostalgia play.
much different.
What about you? Do you want to answer?
I love Stingley.
don't have to.
I would leave the room on this vote.
Yeah, you don't have to answer.
I think I would
Walking out.
I think I would walk out on this vote.
I want them all.
I mean,
we had them all.
seriously,
Hey, I take them all. Like I mean,
I want them all.
yeah.
Jacques is here. We're talking to him next. Remember, we're brought to you by Premier South Roofing and Sheet Metal. If you experienced rain yesterday, if you experienced any hail, I know that there was a tornado that touched down in Denham Springs. If you have any damage and you have roof damage, get in touch with our friends over at Premier South. They're online at premiersouthla.com, premiersouthla.com. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, North Shore, and New Orleans. You can get in touch with them right now online at premiersouthla.com. If you need a tarp, they'll get over to you today, get a tarp on your roof. And remember, they'll jump up on the roof, find the leak, make sure and work with the insurance company and take care of you today. Our friends over at Premier South Roofing, premiersouthla.com. Doesn't matter the listening area. They're coming soon to Daphne and Fairhope, Alabama. But right now, set up and ready for you in Baton Rouge, Lafayette, North Shore, New Orleans. Online, premiersouthla.com. Louisiana's premier roofing experts in quality and in service. Find out for yourself. We're talking to Jacques next here on the Jordy Culotta Show, built by our friends over at RMB Builders.
Hey Baton Rouge, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, whether you need to fill up your vehicle or your belly, stop by Go-Mart and On The Go Deli. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you might need on your trip. So stop by Go-Mart at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left, and visit Tom and Wright Granning and their awesome team at Go-Mart.
Are you looking for sound financial advice? Then get in touch with Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. You can call him today at 225-261-8262 or email him daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. If you're planning for retirement, saving for college, for children or grandchildren, or just looking for sound investment opportunities, get in touch with Daniel today, 225-261-8262, located on Magnolia Square Drive in Central. Daniel Newman of Edward Jones.
Don't let the name fool you. Men's Total Health has offerings for the ladies, too. Guys, is your wife or partner suffering from urinary incontinence, low sexual desire, or pain during sex? Then the O-Shot might be for her. Don't let it scare you. It's totally natural. It's PRP. And Mike Roach and the crew at Men's Total Health will make you as comfortable as you can be. Contact me for more information, Katie at JordyCulottaShow.com, and I'm happy to tell you everything that Men's Total Health has to offer for the ladies.
Fourier Insurance Agency, established in 1946, locally can help you with any of your home, auto, commercial, contractors, life and health insurance today. Give them a call, 225-383-0682, or log online to FourierAgency.com.
Hey, she's on her way up.
Hey, G, I got you something.
Hey, Coach. What do you think? Is this too much?
If you look good, you play good.
All right, then. Let's get it done.
Do you need your roof checked or just ready to get a new roof? Premier South Roofing and Sheet Metal has helped over 10,000 customers with their roofs over the last 2 decades. Premier South employs over 300 team members in South Louisiana. They're accredited by the Better Business Bureau. They've been named in the top 100 roofers in the nation for a number of years. And Premier South has former insurance adjusters in-house whose job it is to help get all the insurance money you deserve. So go to PremierSouthLA.com for Premier South Roofing and Sheet Metal and get your free inspection.
Premier South Roofing.
All right, welcome back here. Jordy Culotta Show, as always, built by our friends over at RMB Builders. Rhett Bourgeois and the crew. RMB-builders.com is where you can find them. Get in touch with Rhett today for a custom home, or if you need to redesign the home you're in and reconstruction, get in touch with them over at RMB. All right, Jacques here every Wednesday. Let's welcome him into the studio. Jacques Doucet from our partner, WAFB.
Good morning, everyone.
Did you get hit with a baseball yesterday?
I did not. I got hit with a Facebook post after my appearance last week, though.
Oh, no.
But, hey, you live and you learn. Could have handled that situation better. And
what happened? What happened on Facebook?
Yeah.
What happened on
the
Facebook?
person that emailed me Facebooked you?
I got tagged by people who related to the young men on the field.
No, dude.
So,
children?
Yeah, the kids on the field.
I sent y'all that screenshot.
All that.
Okay.
So,
well, hey, parents,
look,
tell your kids not to throw balls at live shots.
or if
if you don't mind.
They were just having a good time, and I apologize for throwing the ball. I didn't even see the kid running up. It wasn't like I'm like, yeah, watch, he's gonna run up and then go chase.
You should have signed it.
It was a cheap moment for a cheap laugh, and
it worked.
The old JD creeped in there, and the old temper tantrum JD creeped in there.
I will not allow you to be this hard on yourself, Jacques.
I got things like blood pressure and stuff to worry about now.
Having food poisoning and jambalaya. You got a lot going on.
It was a tough night. I just want to explain real quick. So the feed didn't work. So typically I shoot the game and Steve records the game as a backup. So I missed the Tommy Tanks home run late in the game because I couldn't feed back video from the spot because the internet wasn't working, and I was using my live view to shoot it live so they could record it live and edit. Anyway, anyway, I made some new friends, and I think it's a great thing they do in Hammond where the kids come down the field and get to throw the ball after the game. So
I love the tradition.
Somebody put a meme of it. It was Dana Carvey. Had like a Saturday Night Live a character, grumpy old man. I'm a grumpy old man. That was me. So
too hard on yourself, bro. What a difference a week.
You said
makes.
hard on.
Jacques, all right, LSU baseball.
For the record, I didn't call anyone a turd head either. That wasn't me. But
did somebody do that? Or did I?
Maybe somebody did.
Sent
I did.
The screenshot of this. It was a mom who listens. Y'all were talking about her kid.
Oh.
Yeah.
I apologize on behalf
Be a
of
better
everyone.
parent.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
All good.
I'm sure she's still listening.
LSU baseball last weekend, falls for the first time. What lessons did you take away, or what did you learn about them?
Here's my early soapbox. COVID, people started doing things during COVID that they've carried over into, hey, stick with me.
It's an interesting start.
One of them is the broadcaster on his couch at the house who's not
terrible.
at the game. Like, they started doing this during COVID, like, hey, we don't have our announcers at the game. And with the whole thing went down on Saturday night with the who got ejected from the LSU dugout, and it was some guy in a gray shirt. And then the Auburn coach comes out with his Shakespearean theatrics that go on for about 5 minutes.
Right.
And Ty Floyd admitted to Jay Johnson that it threw him off, and he's got to do a better job of that. And that was kind of the fork in the road in that series, in which LSU won on Friday. They were winning on Saturday, although on Saturday they missed a lot of chances to blow that game open, and they did, and left the bases loaded, 3 times. But I just think that, and it's not the broadcaster's fault, but look, if you're calling a game, you need to be at the game. And still on Monday, Jay Johnson was still unclear about who should have gotten thrown out or whatever, because Josh Jordan, the assistant, who I've interviewed this year, and I agree with Coach. Coach said I've never heard him say a curse word in his life. Yeah, it almost comes like a Baptist. No drink, no curse. What do you do? So that was strange that he got thrown out, and then the video, Jamie what's his last name? Tutko, yeah, the video guy initially got thrown out of the game. They told him to leave. So it was just a strange thing at Auburn that
Well, and then he got the report, and he said that it was still unclear. Like, they didn't name, or like they got the umpire's report, and they give it to Jay on Monday, and he was like, they didn't name anybody still. I still don't know what happened. So,
Yeah.
I mean, flush it, whatever, move on. But all I heard was a gray shirt. He's like, we're wearing gray uniforms, so
anyway,
could be any of us.
Yeah, it was broadcast when you're calling a game, and sometimes they don't know like a ball's hit. Like, is it fair or foul? I mean, if I'm at a box, my 2 eyes see it that it's going where it's going. But when you're calling it off a monitor, it can go out of frame, and you don't know where it is. And then you say stuff like, what a crowd we've got here at Ellick Box. Well, how do you know? You're not there, So it's those kind of things that with the broadcasting, I'd like to see the broadcasters there. Now, look, the broadcasters, I've heard them say, and I agree, I mean, on your list of things to do, Jordy, where does going to the Atlanta airport rank, and dealing with that and all that. So for the broadcasters to be able to go to bed in their own bed and not deal with all that travel and stuff, I understand that to an extent. But there's something to be said about during the commercial break being able to run down the hall in the press box and get some info and
No doubt.
what happened.
I agree.
But, I mean, your first mini crisis of the year, you lost 2 of 3. On one hand, look, you haven't lost a series, and you hadn't lost 2 in a row until early May. That's pretty impressive against that schedule. On the other hand, this team is national championship or bust in a lot of people's eyes, and the men left on base, and then your Sunday starter in Little, he didn't get an out, I don't think. And you hit a home run to start the game. You're up 1-0. That should settle your pitcher in. Instead, I think they walked 6 guys in the first inning, and you're down 7-1. That's not how you deal with that, or how you should. So we'll see. They got Mississippi State coming in, who's really struggling. Man, those guys, since they won the Natty, they've
Falling off a cliff.
Yeah, it's been tough. I think they're 6-18 in the league. So this is a spot where you should sweep. Even if you take 2 or 3, you're at 40 wins. So, it's coming, man. I think it's we're 2 weeks away from the SEC tournament.
Yeah, 3 weeks away from a regional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Can they win past Skeens? Do you buy into this? This seems like the storyline that everybody is pouncing on with LSU. Are they for real after Skeens?
It's disappointing that Floyd because he was mowing him down on
7 straight strikeouts.
7 straight strikeouts. Would he have 9 in his? And then he left in the 4th inning
after the incident.
Yeah, the incident. So I don't know, Jordy. I mean, can you out hit your way in a regional and a super regional, and can your crowd make a difference? Can you win one of those games like they won against Alabama the other day when it was 13-11 or whatnot? I mean, I don't doubt for 1 second that Wes Johnson is an amazing pitching coach. Just for whatever reason, some of these guys, Thatcher Hurd is not what they wanted him to be. It's clear that they wanted him to be either Saturday or Sunday in the rotation, and he's come in relief, and I think he pitched okay last night from what I saw. But
2 1/3.
Mm-hmm. And I think they wanted to give him an opportunity to start again to see if maybe that might, because I'm sure you were there, but they interviewed Jay on Monday, and he was like, the door is open for anybody who wants to be a Sunday starter. We're open to all possibilities. So it's not shocking to see Thatcher go out there as a starter, even though he's been competent as the closer, seemed to have settled into that role, but they're searching for answers on Sunday.
Yeah. I always reference it. I mean, I don't know if anything like this is going to happen, but I always remember 2008, that team when they got hot and they won 23 in a row.
Yeah.
And Lewis Coleman, for a year and a half, the light was not coming on. And then it came on, and then, from that point.
Off.
Yeah, from that point forward.
He's going to the league.
Yeah.
Got drafted.
Oh, he did.
So, I mean, it's going to be exciting, interesting to see. They're just weighed against such heavy expectations. And can you remember a coach that came in, I guess maybe Les Miles, who was under the gun immediately? Typically a new coach comes in and maybe the previous person was fired or whatever. But here he is in year 2, and it's like national championship or bust.
Right.
It's a pretty...
He's also the first I've ever seen that truly doesn't run from it. Like, he embraces it all year round. Like, a lot of guys won't talk about it, won't acknowledge it. Like, he doesn't run from it. He's like, that's why I took the job. I mean, we came here to be national championship contenders every single year. I don't expect not to be, and I believe that. You just don't see a lot of people publicly.
Well, Scott Woodward always said he killed the interview. Just absolutely.
I can imagine.
Killed the interview. Just was awesome, and I'm sure laid it all out. And he's got the kind of demeanor, too, that we haven't really ever seen him explode, right, or get too emotional. And good leaders don't get too emotional. They might pick their spots to make a point, but he's kind of like this. Yeah. So
throw a ball over your head.
Speaking of leaders, you sat down with Brian Kelly over the last 24 hours. I know some stuff's been coming out on social media, and that'll be out.
It's out right now if you want to go watch it.
Is at WFB on the YouTube.
YouTube and WFB.com.
What'd you take away from it?
Well, we talked about Jaden Daniels a lot. Now kind of out in front, face of the team, leader. One interesting thing he said was he would like – Jaden last year had 17 passing touchdowns and 11 rushing touchdowns in 14 games. He would like to see Jaden have in the high 20s touchdown passes this time around. He's gotten bigger, stronger. He's gone through the cycle one time in terms of SEC, and he knows what it takes. He knows about getting the ball to the playmakers on the team. One interesting thing was offensive line. He kind of triggered memories. You remember like a year ago when we go to press conferences and Kelly would be like, well, today we tried this combination at offensive line, and we did this combination, and it wasn't even a depth chart. It was more like an organizational sheet or something like that. Like we had no idea what our offensive line was. This year, they know, right? Yeah. And it's just a matter of adding depth to it and moving forward with it. So the offensive line is in such a much better position than it was a year ago. Malik Neighbors, we know he had a little incident. Look, you and I have been around long enough to know LSU player gets in trouble, Alabama player gets in trouble and how the two fan bases react to that, right?
Mm-hmm.
On one end, he's a kid, leave him alone. And on the other end, it's, you
better run him off.
Yeah. That looked like y'all got some good ones over there at LSU. That kind of thing. So, look, the charges were dropped. He's not going to miss any playing time. But for anybody out there to say it was nothing is inaccurate. Coach Kelly, it bothered him, and he's used words like it has to win our trust back and bad decision. And so I think Malik's a good kid and obviously wants to do well and is a very star player. But that left a little mark there. Harold Perkins. He complimented Matt House at D.C. He said last year we kind of honestly drew up some things in the sand to get him out there and to make him effective. I know that was a hot topic on this show, almost like a basketball player who just made a bunch of threes last year, but then some of the other stuff didn't do. Well, This year he's going to have to gap responsibility, drop back in pass coverage, do the whole thing this year. Last year he wasn't doing that, and late in the year, Coach Kelly admitted the opposing teams chipped tight ends, offensive linemen, and kind of minimized his effectiveness. Omar Spates, he said, great addition, physical, exactly what they need. I'm just going down the line here. Florida State, huge opener, obviously, will create a lot of excitement all summer long. He said it will not define the year, no matter how it goes. But obviously, if you win a game like that, you're off and running. And then you lose a game like that, it kind of takes a while to get the fans back on board. It's kind of hanging over your head. So those are a few things I brought up. John Emery, you think he plays again?
I don't.
Yeah.
Do you?
It has that feeling that it might be done.
I'm pulling for him.
I'd love to see him out there. I mean, last year was the first time, he delivered, a lot of big plays.
Yeah. He looked like himself.
Right.
I think that's what LSU expected to sign. Big playmaker.
Yeah, the Alabama game where he catches the ball in the backfield and scores. The Auburn game, he had those two huge plays. There was 5 guys in the backfield, and he broke away from all of them and scored. I mean, he does bring things to the table that the others don't, but I don't know. It just seems like that it's not trending in the right direction.
Trust is a huge deal between coach and player.
Especially with Brian Kelly.
Right? And I don't even know if it's especially with. I think that's a big deal in a lot of people's office. They got to trust you to put you out there. Like we were talking about earlier with Matt McMahon, you get 10-5 from Jordan Wright in the SEC. That's trustable.
Right.
I trust that I put this guy out there and he's going to do his job.
We talked about special teams too, not to interrupt you, but he said, look, Brian Polian was with me. We had 4 great years together. He had an off year. I wasn't going to fire him just because we had one bad year on special teams. We moved him into a new role that was more important, managing our roster. And I think that the coaches across the board now have a responsibility in special teams.
Yeah.
So hopefully that works out. Now, I'm not comparing the two coaches, but I think it was 2017. Remember when Coach O was like, no, this coach, he coaches the extra points, and this one, he coaches the and it was kind of like that didn't go well that year. That bowl game against Notre Dame was the biggest circus in special teams. 2017.
Yeah.
Chark caught a punt at his own 1-yard line and got tackled. They missed a 26-yarder. They shanked a punt. I mean, it was bad that day. I'm not saying that's going to happen this year. I just remember with the collective.
It can go bad. People, bad special teams is so glaring.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's so expected that it's just a part of the game that you trot out there and you make the PAT and go kick the ball off into the end zone and nothing happens. You're like, if you're bad at that.
Who was the snapper? No one knows the deep snapper's name.
That's right. Until
North Texas, 2012. First,
it had to be a Ferguson.
It was who was first? Reed, and then
Blake.
I think it was Reed. First snap over the punter's head.
Yeah.
And then he never missed a snap after that again. But, do something right, nobody remembers. Do something wrong, nobody forgets. But
that was always one of the specialty positions that I always appreciated that Miles did recruit. He would go get a deep snapper. He would go
His
get...
priorities were so out of whack.
They were so weird. But, it was like, at least for the next 8 years, you got a deep snapper.
Yep. Don't have to worry about it.
Well, ancient history, but if there's one thing that Les Miles did better than Nick Saban, the special teams were better.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember a lot of Nick Saban's field goal kickers, their percentages were not that high. And if you remember the first game Les Miles ever coached at Arizona State, they scored two special teams touchdowns.
Yeah.
They blocked a field goal
and blocked a punt.
Blocked a punt.
Hester blocked it.
Hester blocked it.
And it went down as a block punt, but I don't even think the guy ever really got it off.
No.
They
took
hit
it off
him in
his
the
foot.
ball.
I think it was Mario Stevenson.
Mario Stevenson, number 6.
Scooped and scored. JUCO player. Saban signed him. He's a big Saban signee.
Rohan's like, who's that wearing number 6? You know, scoring on the special teams.
Remember he faked a punt with Chris Jackson out of his own end zone.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and that
Ronnie
was
Prude.
Look, there was never
what a name.
Ronnie
Prude.
Chris Jackson threw a pass to Ronnie Prude out of his own end zone for 10 yards.
That's when they showed Miles, and Miles had the Britney Spears microphone on. Remember that he ditched it at halftime.
I think it was the Tennessee game the next week where he had it, and Tiger Stadium noise just overwhelmed.
Oh my God.
He couldn't hear anything.
Well, I remember that his first time. That was his first time in Tiger Stadium. Was that
Yeah.
Tennessee game? And he walked out, and it might have been you who had him on camera, and he's like, "Where's my wife? Where's my wife?" Like, Coach, I don't know, but Tennessee's right there.
Yeah, that was. I think he pumped his fist towards the student section or something. They were up 21-0 at the half, and they blew it.
They did.
He took his
and
earpiece
actually,
out.
if you go back to that game, he botches the clock going into half. They have the ball going into half. And think about this. If they get a field goal there, they could win the game in regulation. But Jamarcus scrambles and gets tackled like before making a first down, or he's not out of bounds, and the clock's running. And he's kind of thinking like he's in. I mean, it is such a foreshadowing of Les Miles. Yeah. It was epic. Les Miles for the first two. Think about the first 2 weeks that Miles was the coach at LSU. Now I get it. They were in Katrina circumstances, and like the football did not matter. But the football that was on display, like you were like, oh God, this guy is This is gonna be a ride.
There was never a more accurate first impression of a coach than Les Miles' first game at Arizona State. They've got a lot more talent, it appears. They're losing, and things just take this whiplash left turn.
Yes.
That they score these 2 touchdowns, and look. My distant cousin, Early Doucet, I was standing right there in the end zone. To this day, Early, I don't know if you caught that ball. But
he didn't. But he actually came down with it, but he
rolled over it.
Yeah, I thought it bounced off his chest.
Well,
but Jamarcus, that may be one of the most impressive balls Jamarcus ever. He's rolling to his left.
It was a 4th and 10.
It's 4th down.
And it was like a 40-yard.
And he just like flicks it, and Early just runs into it. Like, I mean, it is.
And I remember that referee clear as day. It was like his eyes weren't even on. He just walks up and just does like this.
Just
touchdown.
he's probably looking at the throw. It's like, oh my God.
And just
they had no business winning that game.
And they won the game. And I talked to Steve Schneider that night. He goes, "They are ripping Les Miles on this post-game show. I mean, they are just all after him, like faking a punt out of your own end zone. What the hell is wrong with you?"
Pelini had the DBs playing 10 yards off the ball.
Oh.
And they were playing like this zone. Now Pelini switched it real quick. He got the defense right. But that was, I remember people were freaking out about because LSU's defense at that time, I mean,
Studs.
they had this reputation where they would come and just bludgeon you. They would just destroy you on defense.
The quarterback, I'm trying to think of his name, and I remember the head coach. He went to Atlanta, the Falcons, eventually. But I think they threw for 460 or something in the game. I mean, they just tore LSU apart.
Sam Keller,
my boy Lloyd right here. And the head coach was, what's his name? But
he was a coach for the Falcons?
I thought he went to the Falcons later or something, and maybe as an assistant or something like that. I can see his face, but
did he? It's not the UCLA head coach that went to the Falcons. Coached Michael Vick was
Jim Mora Jr.
Just Google Arizona State head coach 2005 football, but yeah, and then the Tennessee game, and look,
Dirk Cutter.
Cutter. It was pronounced Cutter. That's it.
Dirk Cutter.
Look, rest in peace to our guy Roscoe.
He was the OC at Tampa Bay, and Atlanta.
Right. I had the division right. I just said the wrong.
Atlanta too.
But I remember listening to Jimmy Ott and Roscoe. Rest in peace, Roscoe.
Guy.
So Tuesday they're doing the show, and Jimmy goes, "Roscoe, when is LSU going to be ranked in the top 5 again after this game?" Never.
Oh, I mean, just the eternal, just pessimist. I mean, like,
rest in peace, Roscoe.
Oh,
man.
the best. The best.
I think about that every day. Every day I go to church, man, about your health. And you never know. But anyway, I just remember, that the sky was falling.
Never.
LSU had hired a lemon as the head coach in Les Miles, and he navigated the storm. He weaved his way around the landmines and won a lot of games.
He did. That team was. I mean, if they would have won that Tennessee game, they'd been undefeated.
Yeah, they lost one game, had to play a bunch of games in a row, and then
they had no open date.
No open date. Yeah, I remember somebody at student section had a sign up, Katrina's gone, Rita is away, God, oh God, can I see my Tigers play? Or something like that. It's on the front row. And Tommy Moffitt would tell you, and look, not to make excuses, but their strength and conditioning and everything was so out of whack because of the all that moving around that in the second half of that Tennessee game, they were gassed. And that was a hot night too.
That's one of the hottest nights I've ever experienced. It was a Monday night, and it was one of the hottest, most humid, thickest, most South Louisiana weather I could ever
Darren
remember.
DeQuan, our videographer, he said that was the hottest. You're talking about a 50-pound camera running up and down the sideline. They make you kneel. You can't stand up. All that stuff. He was like, man, I'm about to need an IV or two before the game was over.
I bet.
It was rough. But anyway, yeah, we went way off the track there. But
that's what I love about this segment.
Yeah.
Matt McMahon closed out his recruiting class and roster yesterday, and we've seen a bunch of coaches here, especially in the second year, have a lot of success in recruiting. Even going back to Saban when he was getting Clayton and Spears and Marquise Hill and all those guys that were coming in that class. What do you see in this class? What's the challenge now Matt McMahon has here in year two?
Well, I mean, he's landed a bunch of guys that played high school locally and are coming back home, which is good. It's not going to sell. It's going to sell maybe 100 or 200 more tickets just for that. They have to win for fans to come back. People aren't just going to go because the guys are local. Are they a better team? I mean, I would think they would have to be than last year. I mean, I see Tasman Mitchell all the time. He's on that staff, and he's told me, Jacques, we're gonna fix this. We're gonna get the right guys in, and a lot of these guys are gonna have to go. I mean, that was when the season. Whoa, hey now. So I hope they do a lot better. I mean, certainly it seems like they've got some more maybe competent veteran pieces in place. I mean, this last guy they got, Dean, he averaged 8 points and
Hunter Dean, George Washington.
Hunter Dean at George Washington. How does that translate over to playing in the SEC? I'm not sure. But still, I do give Matt McMahon still the benefit of the doubt, and that until the NCAA finally comes out and says, "Okay, this is your ruling, this is your punishment," it's kind of hard to move on from that because I'm sure opposing coaches are saying, "Are you sure you want to go to LSU?" They're still not out of the woods from the NCAA stuff. So it's just so tough because what Kim's doing on the women's side is dwarfing anything. The players she's getting and this unprecedented run of women's basketball and the players being superstars on and off the floor and their impact in pop culture and NIL and all these different things. It's just, it's hard to take your eyes off it.
This is the most popular sport and thing we've ever seen at LSU, right? As we've been covering it, you and I mean, we've kind of been covering it for the same amount of time. We've seen some cool stuff. I mean, have you ever seen a team as popular and a brand as hot as LSU women's basketball? I mean, football's been on top of the world before. I don't remember them ever being this hot, this electric.
Yeah, when you covered the 5 straight Final Four teams, 04 to 08, I mean, Simone and Sylvia and Tamika, they were all stars. But there was obviously no NIL, and they were just athletes, student athletes for the most part. I mean, Angel Reese is going to be in the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue. And think about that for a second. Kids like me that grew up in the 80s, get Sports Illustrated. I mean, that was Elle McPherson and, Tyra Banks and people like that. Now to have, Angel Reese spoofed on Saturday Night Live too, which I guess maybe isn't as relative today as it was like in the 80s and 90s when I was watching it. these things are unprecedented. And just the $1.3 million she's going to make, and then Flage. LSU's never had. Love you, Marlon Favorite, but LSU's never had a rapper athlete of this magnitude.
That was good.
Allie Broussard.
Allie Broussard. Allie Cat. Yeah, I thought you knew.
Here's one, April Burkholder. Do you remember her?
Oh, yes.
Her name was Allie Zay, I think. That was her rap name. LSU gymnast. I remember one time her and Allie Broussard did a rap at a halftime of a basketball game back in the day or something like that.
Allie Broussard was so funny.
Was it you that told me he freestyled his opening?
On the opening day of class.
And never came back?
No, never came back.
Allie Broussard?
Yeah, you had to go around. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No.
Oh, yeah,
that's
sorry.
funny. We did a funny story with Allie a few years back when Leonard was ripping off. And Allie had the rushing record.
Yeah, that's right.
The single
Ole
game.
Miss, right?
Yeah, Ole Miss, 250. Yeah. And Leonard should have passed it like a couple of times, but there was a flag. There was a wiped out an 80-yard run. And so we went to his house and shot a deal where he acts like he's watching it live with his little daughter. And she's rooting for Leonard, like, go, go, go. And he's like, no, And she says something like, Daddy can't run fast no more. He's got a big stomach. It's just hilarious stuff. But yeah,
he's so funny.
Oh yeah,
he's great on social media too. If you want to follow him, he's famous because he takes. I mean, he was a comedian. He could have been a stand-up comic, but like on our first day of class, the teacher was like, go around and almost kind of give like a mini bio. About
where you
I'm Jordy from Baton Rouge, graduated from Parkview. My major is this. We were going.
One fun fact.
Yeah, right. And we go around the room. It's all football. It's all athletes. And they get to and like all the football players like messing with Allie. Like Allie, get him. And he gets to him, and I mean he stands up and does this like 90-second freestyle of himself, like rap. My name is Allie Cat. I'm here to play.
Oh,
and I mean, it was just like the whole, like people started clapping. You know what I mean? Like,
beating to the pins on the desk.
Like made like an inside, like you've aced the class. He was like, sweet, like walked out, never came back.
Never came back.
You know what I mean? Like, it was great.
It's a communications class, perfect.
He was so fun to watch, man. He was another one that.
And a knee injury too. I mean, he got hurt.
It was Justin Vincent's opening that allowed Justin Vincent to become JV.
Oh,
really?
I think that was 5. I think it was preseason 2005. It was Les Miles' first year. Because I know Allie never jived with Porter.
Larry Porter.
Larry Porter, the running backs coach. They oil and water there. But he blew out his knee in 2005, I think it was, and then he tried and just never was quite the same. That's a what if right there, because I thought he was on pace to be a first round, pick.
He was, man. He was. His high school highlights,
his
senior year. He was Leonard. Mm-hmm. I mean, he was like watching Leonard, and he was big, strong, fast, just like, oh my God, what are you gonna do with this guy?
Acadiana, wrecking Rams,
when
baby.
he had that night, I remember that night he had against Ole Miss. He kind of had like a Leonard type night against Ole Miss, where he was just, he'd break through, he'd get out in the open,
and he's gone.
He was gone.
The double black ankle braces.
Gone.
Yeah.
22.
No wasted motion either.
No gloves.
Yeah.
Never wore gloves.
Just the wrist tape.
Yeah.
And then I remember remember the old like ESPN ticker. I remember it was like 4 or 5 in the morning, and I don't know why I was awake, but I saw like Allie Broussard breaking like torn ACL, and I was like, this day could not have started worse. That is just because it was coming off like a 100-yard game, I think Iowa and the Capitol.
Busted out.
Yeah,
he did.
And they were like, oh, at least we have this. LSU has Jamarcus and Allie Broussard coming back.
He was like throwing touchdowns to Dwayne Bowe.
It was so much fun.
The Iowa that bowl game, in which Iowa basically threw a Hail Mary, but it wasn't. I mean, the guy just ran straight down the seam.
Ronnie Prue jumped out.
Yeah. I remember Hawthorne. I remember seeing Hawthorne. He's like, well, we had 10 people playing one defense and one guy playing another. And Darren's got it clear as day. Saban runs after him. Ronnie!
Yeah, he does. I remember that.
And they kind of meet up, and you don't see what's being said, and then Saban just kind of walks away.
And that was it?
That was it, yeah. Now, Ronnie told me he did not tell Saban off. Like, there was a story that Ronnie told him, you're not my coach no more, F you, whatever. He said, I would never do that. That's not what happened. But that was the game that Darren, in the post game, he had one of those long sponge mics, kind of, and everyone was they interviewed Saban on the field for whatever reason. And, there was a couple of guys with their tape recorders up like this, blocking Saban's face. and Darren was trying to put
fish him out,
and he goes straight into Saban's cheek.
Oh my God!
It's like that. It hits him, and Darren said, you know what, a brick at that point.
Yeah.
And then Saban just rolled with it and just kept talking. But
wow.
We ran a story on it afterwards, and this is the ultimate case of if Saban was still the coach, and LSU fans would have found Darren and thrown him off the bridge. But then once he left to go run that story again,
Yeah.
show that story, and
Yeah,
Saban
right.
get the mic in his face, you know.
Right.
So especially when it's Alabama. But.
Yeah, because he kind of did the farewell press conference in Miami. He never came back to Baton Rouge. That was kind of like the
send-off.
kind of like the stake in the heart.
Me and Cobble, Lee Zerk was doing sports at the time.
That's right.
Investigative. Christmas Day, we're all freezing outside the LSU athletic building.
It was Christmas Day.
Saban comes out, and it was like it was Lady Gaga. It was paparazzi, baby. We were all out there trying to get him, and I'm going to talk to the team at 5 o'clock. I think that's what you told you, right? And then he just kept walking, and he got on the bus, and he left, and he went and he did a press conference in Orlando that night, and instead of getting questions about LSU and whatnot, he announced that night, I'm going to the Dolphins, and then he's talking about Ricky Williams and stuff like that. And then at Orlando, he said, I want to see this program be successful. I hope they get a great coach, and blah, blah, blah. And, he coached the bowl game. That was that's very that would not happen today, right?
Was you that knocked on his Mercedes window when he was pulling out an athletic building?
I remember that video very well. That was not me, though.
Who was that? Was that Cobble? Because it
might have been
somebody,
Cobble.
Somebody walked up on him, and he handled it pretty good. But I mean, he kind of was like,
I think that was Jimmy Sexton in the.
It was Jimmy Sexton
passenger seat.
It was.
And I think
They were
Saban
kinda
was
getting
like,
the deal done.
Well, I should be able to come to work every day with not all this going on. I think that's what he said.
That's right.
At that time or whatever. And then, did Nick Saban really want Houston Nutt to be the coach?
He did.
Houston Nutt.
He wanted Houston Nutt. I remember that Skip asked him. I think there was a little bit of, you don't want to hand it over to somebody that you really believe in that can, keep this monster going. This thing's a machine.
Okay, so have to come back to college.
I'm telling you, the first 3 teams he left Les Miles. They were some of the greatest LSU's ever had pre-2011. You know what I mean? That was
the roster was bursting. With NFL,
just the depth chart. The amount of they had no transfer portal. You were locked in, man. I mean, they had guys for the next 4 or 5 years. I mean, just the quarterback room alone.
Yeah,
that he left him. Flynn and Russell. I mean, he went and got Perilou, but
yeah. You look over here. There's Dwayne Bowe. There's
Craig Davis,
Glenn Dorsey,
Early Doucet. The running back room. I mean, you step into that offense. The defensive line. Kyle Williams. Oof. I mean, Ricky Jean, Glenn Dorsey. I mean, Jacques. I mean, shit. Kirsten Pittman. I mean, they were so. That 05, 06, 07 roster are they have to be 3 of the strongest consecutive years of just dudes.
And Les Miles went 34-6 in those first 3 years. He finished
and didn't throw
5th,
the ball.
3rd, and 1st in the country. And still people were saying we underachieved. We should have been better. And Tommy Moffitt told me, he's like, look, no offense to Les Miles, but he feels like LSU should have won 3 national championships in a row or something or more. And then if you're winning them, and then the recruits
absolutely.
it's just a rolling downhill snowball thing. So
Jacques, that Auburn game in 2006 is inexcusable on Miles, where he puts it in the microwave for 3.5 quarters, and finally at the end, him and Jimbo, you can see them on the if you go back and watch the game, they're brawling on the headset. They are brawling on the headset. Finally, Miles just throws his hands up and lets him throw the ball, and Jamarcus, and Davis gets pushed out of bounds at the 2-yard line. This is after they, rake early.
Yeah, the flag that got picked up.
But
I used to see Buster Davis. He used to work out at the gym that I'd go to, and I mean, this is 2000, 13, 14.
Right.
And I'd see him in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, and he would bring that game up. He'd be like, bro, I can't tell you. We should have thrown the ball, man.
I mean, Jacques.
We should have lost that game, man. Because he caught the last one, right?
He caught the last
and got
one.
pushed out of bounds.
I mean,
Yeah.
they went through them like a knife and butter. I mean, like when they started throwing the ball, they could not stop them. And for 3.5, it was insubordination. You know, like if you're the head coach, you're like, what are we doing? And if you're Buster Davis, Jacques, if they win the game, they're playing for a national championship. You know what I mean? If they win that game.
They lost that one, and then there was that Florida game that was all funky that day,
Right.
and Tim Tebow threw that stupid jump pass.
And Jamarcus fumbled on the one.
Fumbled on the one.
After Hester scored.
And Vern Lundquist got all excited about that
Jump
stupid
pass.
Tim Tebow jump pass.
God.
Oh, it's 1955.
Right. It was
His last visceral memory.
I hated that stupid, goofy jump pass Tim Tebow threw that day.
Is that the day that they fumbled the opening kickoff of the second half? Early Doucet fumbled.
Yes.
They knocked Craig Davis out of the game. Reggie Nelson decapitated Craig Davis.
That was Urban churning him out.
Or it might have been LaFell. Might have been Brandon LaFell who he hit.
And the season ended against Brady Quinn and Big Charlie Weiss in the Superdome. And Jamarcus, with that performance, ended up being the first pick in the draft. And on that same day, Nick Saban became the head coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide.
I remember that. LSU would have beat any team in the country that night.
Mm-hmm.
They'd have beat anybody that night.
And look, you know, Les Miles is a complicated subject for many reasons, but that Tennessee game you referenced in 05 that they lost the first home game, he jumped in on Bo Pelini's defense, and they changed, and he was, I think, kind of, because Pelini got furious. We had some shots that night of Pelini just like, you know, and from what I understood, we knew somebody who knew Pelini. They were next door neighbors or whatever, and they would have beers on the back porch or whatever, and Pelini said, you know, Les Miles would be the greatest coach in America if on game day he'd go up in the stands and eat popcorn and not interfere with what we're doing. And he kind of meddled sometimes. And I know it's the head coach and it's all on him, wins and losses and whatnot. And look, 2011, that was the 2019 team before the 2019 team.
Right.
That was 6 years into Miles. He recruited all those guys. He coached all those guys. That was his team, totally his thing. And they were right there.
He could have changed his whole
about to
history
be
that
the
night.
greatest in college football history. And then they had 40 days to get ready for the game, and they roll out that stinker. And from that point forward, it was just really kind of hard to overcome.
It was. What's coming up on Red, Rock, and Blue?
Teams are registering right now for our slow pitch softball tournament to benefit Louisiana military charities, redrockandblue.com. We've got several concerts at the Varsity Theater this summer. The big one, we've got August 19th, we've got multi-platinum artist Vertical Horizon, who had several huge hits back in the early 2000s. They'll be playing, and we've got a catering reunion. It's already sold like 100 tickets.
Wow.
Amos Moses and bands that used to play the catering are getting together and playing the Varsity July 8th. And that's a hot show right now. A lot of people are buying tickets for that one. And we got a country show July 21st with Chase Tyler and some other guys. So it's all at our website, redrockandblue.com.
Redrockandblue.com. Jacques here every week. Make sure and check him out on the desk on WAFB. Download the app and check out our content on WAFB.com. Have a great Wednesday. Don't forget Jay Johnson on with the boys this afternoon, mic'd up. Mikey and Jared will be talking to LSU skipper Jay Johnson as Mississippi State comes into town. Tigers beat Northwestern last night, so they'll get the latest from Jay and the Tigers. So make sure and tune into Mic'd Up coming up this afternoon, 6 to 8 o'clock, right on the Mic'd Up channel that you can find here on YouTube. Have a great Tuesday. Have a great Wednesday out there. Stay safe. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning. We'll be in. We'll have that Brian Kelly and Kim Mulkey interview tomorrow, so we'll be turning that around pretty quick. So stay tuned. Everybody have a good day.
Hope you enjoyed it.